I travel from one world to another doing wholesale sales, and you call this the end of the world? This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26, Competing. 3 people, 2 cars. One in front and one behind. They returned to the courtyard of Yunshujian. I'll go change my clothes first. As soon as she entered the door, Xiaowei looked at Shuang and said deliberately. Humph. Shuang snorted and turned to look at the house. In addition to luxury, it's still luxury. Xiaowei would arrange people to come and clean the house every day, so although the house is big, it is spotless. Shuang, sit down, I'll go get some fruit, Su Wei said and walked towards the kitchen. Soon, Su Wei took apples, bananas, red grapes, etc., a big plate, and placed it on the coffee table in the living room. Are you and her already living in the same room? Shuang sat on the sofa, staring at Su Wei with 2 black, watery eyes, with an inexplicable shame on her face. No, Su Wei's face blushed for no reason. Oh, Shuang's face suddenly showed a sly smile. Stinky brother, do you think my sister's clothes look good? At this time, Xiaowei changed into a black silk nightgown. As thin as a cicada's wing, as smooth as water, it fits perfectly on the curvy body, like a lute half-covered, full of endless temptation. In fact, this is the real gift she prepared to give to Su Wei. It looks good, Su Wei's eyes almost fell out. There is no way, Xiaowei is very good in herself, and with the bonus of the clothes, her charm is directly off the charts. Humph. Flirtatious fox, Shuang on the side was immediately unhappy. If you don't look at her face and only look at her figure, she will be completely defeated. Haha, sexy is not flirting. Little sister, you are still far from it, Xiaowei came with a fragrant breeze. As she said this, she deliberately straightened her chest and looked at Shuang's immature figure provocatively. Humph, Aunt Xia, you only have this advantage left. But I will definitely surpass you in 2 years. Shuang took off her coat and revealed a cute little sling, put her hands on her waist, and straightened her small chest that was just beginning to take shape, looking like she was not willing to be outdone. Now, the orchids and chrysanthemums competed for beauty, and Su Wei, who was standing by, got the upper hand. Taiping. If you keep calling me that, don't blame me for being rude. Xiaowei's face turned green with anger when she heard Shuang's name. Xia missile. Who's afraid of who? Shuang also instantly exploded. Although it was very pleasing to watch 2 beauties quarreling, the red faces of the 2 gave Su Wei a headache, and he shouted hurriedly. Stop quarreling. Seeing Su Wei's unhappy face, the 2 women immediately stopped quarreling. At this time, they realized that today was Su Wei's birthday, and it was really inappropriate for the 2 to quarrel here. Huh? Shuang. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have provoked you. Let's shake hands and make peace now, okay? Xiaowei was a few years older after all, and apologized very generously. Then she stretched out her right hand to Shuang. Hey. Actually, I was wrong too. Sister Wei, don't bother with me. Shuang looked ashamed, and stretched out her hand to shake hands with Xiaowei. Great, seeing the 2 shaking hands and making peace, Su Wei couldn't help but applaud. Such a harmonious scene was what he liked to see. Since we are so happy, why don't we drink some red wine? Shuang, can you? Xiaowei said as she ran to the wine cabinet to get a bottle of treasured red wine. I can do it, Shuang smiled and nodded. Sister Wei, I'll help you. Su Wei got up to help open the red wine, and Xiaowei took some snacks from the cabinet to go with the wine. Come on, let's toast to the birthday star first. After the 3 of them sat down around the coffee table, Xiaowei raised the goblet in her hand. Cheers! The soft and mellow wine flowed down the throat into the stomach, and an intoxicating feeling suddenly arose. The 2nd cup is for our Princess He, who accepted my apology. The 3rd cup is for our everlasting friendship. After 1 round, most of the bottle of red wine went into the stomachs of the 3 people. Sister Wei, how did you and Shuang know each other? After 3 rounds of drinking, Su Wei felt that the atmosphere was harmonious, so he asked a question that he was very curious about. When I was a child, Shuang and I lived in the same courtyard. Xiaowei's face was red as she told this story. Shuang, who was standing next to her, also had rosy cheeks. After hearing Xiaowei's story, She smiled and nodded. It turned out that the He family was also a big family in Beijing. The two were 6 years apart, but because they were the only two girls in the courtyard, they often played together in the courtyard. Xiaowei was like an older sister, taking care of He Shuang, the little sister, meticulously. But as she grew older, Xiaowei became more and more graceful, and her figure was highlighted too early, becoming the most beautiful scenery in the courtyard. When Xiaowei went to college, He Shuang went to middle school. The boys in the courtyard often compared the two of them, but He Shuang was born thin and always felt ashamed in front of Xiaowei. Which girl doesn't love beauty? As time went by, there was a gap between the two, and they finally parted ways unhappily. In addition, after the death of the founding father of the He family, that is, after the death of He Shuang's great-grandfather, the political status of the He family plummeted. The He family simply gave up politics and went into business, moved out of the capital, and moved the whole family to the Magic City to develop, creating the current Zhonglei International. Speaking of which, the two hadn't seen each other for almost 10 years, but they didn't expect to meet again for the same man. Is this what is called no enemies, no reunion? After listening to Xiaowei's story and some of He Shuang's supplements, Su Wei felt a little puzzled. The two women almost died because of this kind of thing. I couldn't help but take another look. Well, the gap is not that exaggerated. And wouldn't it be better to match meat and vegetables? To eat. What are you thinking about? Su Wei shook his head quickly and threw those unrealistic thoughts behind his mind. Come on, for your reunion and for our friendship. Cheers. Su Wei raised the wine glass in his hand. Hey. Why is there no wine? He Shuang said a little tipsy, holding the empty bottle. Don't worry, there is plenty of wine. Xiaowei immediately stood up and went to the wine cabinet to get another bottle of the same red wine. In this way, the three chatted about everything and drank unscrupulously. Unknowingly, they drank 4 or 5 bottles of red wine. Although most of it went into Su Wei's stomach, the two women still managed to get themselves drunk. Oh my god. What should I do? Looking at the two women lying on their bodies, Su Wei almost turned into a beast. Fortunately, while strengthening his physique, his willpower was also improved, otherwise it would be a big deal. It took a lot of effort, mainly patience, to send the two women into the bedroom. Su Wei felt more tired than the college entrance examination. I quickly jumped into the pool and began to swim with great effort. 1 lap, 2 laps, 3 laps, 4 laps. Damn, how come I feel more and more energetic the more I swim? Chapter 27 Hangover. At 10 o'clock the next morning, Xiaowei woke up from a hangover and felt someone pressing on her. She was startled, but then she felt an inexplicable joy. This is Yan Shujian, who else could it be besides her? But as her eyes opened, the sweet smile froze on her face. He Shuang, well, she actually forgot about her completely. Xiaowei couldn't help but smile bitterly. Everything went according to plan last night, but He Aojin showed up halfway and made everything go off track. This little girl, I haven't seen her for a few years, she has gained weight. My legs are numb from being pressed down by her. By the way, there are so many rooms here, why put them together? Xiaowei couldn't help but criticize Su Wei. Suddenly, Xiaowei's mouth curled up with a sly smile. She raised her hand and rubbed He Shuang's chest. Su Wei, stop messing around. Let me sleep a little longer. He Shuang didn't even open her eyes, and slept happily with Xiaowei's majesty as her pillow. Hey, Xiaowei couldn't help laughing out loud. She didn't expect that this little girl looked pure and innocent, but in fact, her heart was also in the process of spring. Hearing the strange sound, He Shuang suddenly opened her eyes. What came into view was Xiaowei's face that was as beautiful as a painting, but at this time, she was smiling intriguingly. He Shuang was startled, and hurriedly reached out to knock away Xiaowei's mischievous hands, and rolled and crawled to the side. Tisk tisk. Su Wei can do it, but I can't, Xiaowei said with a teasing look on her face. Bah, shameless. He Shuang thought of what she had just said, and was immediately ashamed. I see that you have grown a lot. Is this all Su Wei's credit? Xiaowei deliberately smelled her fingers. Say it again. I'll tear your mouth to pieces. He Shuang, who was humiliated and angry, immediately rushed over. Come on, I'm not afraid of you. Xiaowei also went up to scold him. For a while, the room was filled with singing and dancing, and the spring light was bright. You two, eat. Just as the two women were in a stalemate, The door suddenly opened, and Su Wei, with two panda eyes, walked in, and was immediately blinded by the spring light. Goodbye. After a short silence, Su Wei hurriedly turned around and left. It was not until the door was closed that a shocking cry of tenderness came from the room. Half an hour later, the two women came to the restaurant and ate the breakfast prepared by Su Wei. Stinky brother, Xia Wei cursed in an ambiguous low voice. Stinky man, he shuang had a gnashing taste, and took a bite of the fried sausage on the chopsticks. Hiss. Hey. I have something else to do. I'm leaving first. Bye. Facing the strange looks from the two women, Su Wei left decisively. They were comparing size in front of him last night, but now they look like they have a deep hatred for each other. It's really hard to guess what women are thinking. Isn't it just a little more than last night? What's the matter? It shouldn't be a big deal? After Su Wei left, young Shujian was not as tense as last night, but there was a little more tension. You look so fierce that you scared people away. Xia Wei looked at Shuang with a sullen face and said dissatisfiedly. Humph, you didn't even knock before coming in. This guy is really bad. Shuang was still a little upset. Haha. Why don't you just break up and never have anything to do with each other again? Xia Wei suddenly said with an instigating look. Humph, wishful thinking. I've missed it once, and now I won't give up no matter what. Shuang looked determined. Then it depends on your ability. Xia Wei's words once again ignited the fighting spirit of both sides. The two women looked at each other with eyes full of bright sparks. After driving to the rental house, Su Wei teleported to the wasteland world. After not coming for a few days, the Shimu camp has changed a lot. Especially the previous leader's house, which has been completely renewed. Leader, you are here. Seeing Su Wei coming in, Song Dan, who was working in the office, immediately trotted over and bowed. In the past, as an assistant to Zhang Jun, she not only had to handle affairs, but also had to suffer violations. Now, in addition to handling affairs, there are also rich food to eat, which was a life that she could not imagine before. Therefore, Song Dan was full of endless gratitude to Su Wei. Sister Song, don't be so polite, just call me boss from now on. Su Wei was really not used to being respected. Yes, boss. Song Dan heard the words, still respectful. Is Ziona here? Su Wei asked casually. Minister, you took people to hunt. Do you need to send someone to contact him? Song Dan replied hurriedly. No, I just asked casually. Su Wei shook his head and sat down on his chair. Song Dan stood aside, waiting for orders at any time. This was the hall where the battle took place before, but now it has become Su Wei's exclusive area. By the way, Sister Song, I heard that you were the president of a listed company before the disaster. Yes, Song Dan's face was a little more sad. The prosperity of the past has become a thing of the past. After the disaster, she, a president with a net worth of hundreds of billions, is not as good as a laborer on a construction site. No wonder you can manage the base in an orderly manner. In the future, you should manage the base as a company and strive to make it bigger and stronger, Su Wei encouraged. Yes, boss, I will do my best, Song Dan swore hurriedly. Okay, Sister Song, just go ahead and do it. The base will not treat you unfairly. Yes, boss. Okay, you are busy. I'll go to other places to have a look. Leaving the hall, Su Wei went directly to the medical department. Old Qin had moved the pharmacy directly here and hired a few assistants. In comparison, this place is larger and more spacious than the pharmacy, and there is a quota of food distribution. There is no need to worry about survival, and there is more time to study medicine. Therefore, Qin Lao has been living a comfortable life these days. Qin Lao, Su Wei woke up Qin Hong, who is immersed in the experiment. Boss. Come on, sit down, I have good news to tell you. Qin Hong saw Su Wei as if he saw his own mother, and enthusiastically pulled him to sit down. What good news? The strengthening potion can be mass-produced. Really? Of course. In fact, this is not a difficult task. In addition to mutant medicinal materials, the production of strengthening potions also requires non-mutated medicinal materials to neutralize the medicinal properties. In today's wasteland, mutant medicinal materials are everywhere, so as long as you can provide non-mutated medicinal materials, I can make strengthening potions. I see, that's no problem. Give me the list of medicinal materials, and I'll find a way. I knew you had a way, boss. Haha, here, it's ready, Qin Lao said, taking out the list of medicinal materials that he had prepared long ago and handed it to Su Wei. It was a thick stack, and Sue was a little dumbfounded. This is definitely not just about making strengthening potions, but Mr. Kin's research results all belong to the base, so it doesn't matter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28: A Man of Great Wisdom. Coming out of the medical department, Sue had 3 more strengthening potions in his hand, ranging from level 4 to 6. In addition to the 3 life potions made from the herbs Sue provided last time, Qin Hong also prepared 3 strengthening potions. One of the precious mutant herbs was obtained by Qin Hong in exchange for that piece of bread, but compared with the reward Sue offered him now, it was not worth mentioning. After collecting the strengthening potions, Sue went to the Science and Technology Department again. Boss, seeing Sue come in, Ji Tongguang was the first to rush over. How is the stuff going? Sue looked at the busy laboratory with great anticipation. Old Liu, come here. Ji Tongguang hurriedly called over a middle-aged man who was about the same age as him. Sue remembered that his name was Liu Hongxi, an expert in hardware. Hello, boss. Liu Hongxi hurried over and bowed to Sue. After the disaster, nerds like them were equivalent to waste, and no one wanted them to do hard labor. Now they were hired by Sue at a high salary to do their favorite thing, which was like pie in the sky. Therefore, the people in the Ministry of Science and Technology had a special feeling for Sue. Old Liu, have you finished the things that the boss asked you to do? Before Sue could speak, Ji Tongguang asked. It's done, boss. Liu Hongxi immediately ran to his desk and took out something the size of a piece of chewing gum, but it was only as thin as a thick piece of paper. Boss, this is a 10,000 mAh hydrogen battery. It charges for 10 minutes and has a standby time of 1 month. So small? So thin. Sue was shocked by Liu Hongxi's words. Such a big thing actually has a power of 10,000 mAh. If this kind of battery is used, wouldn't a mobile phone be as thin as paper? This is still the industrial level of 500 years ago that you asked me to make. If there is no such limitation, it can be as small as a fingernail, Liu Hongxi said with a proud face. Awesome. Sue gave him a big compliment without hesitation. It's nothing. It all depends on the material it's made of. Hydrogen metal, which is lightweight, has high energy density, and is a room temperature superconductor. It can be said that even in extreme energy consumption, batteries made of it will not have heating problems, which greatly increases their service life. Liu Hongxi was a little embarrassed by Sue's praise. He was just following the rules. Really? Can it be mass-produced? Sue couldn't let go of the hydrogen battery in his hand. Oh, boss, I have a question. Liu Hongxi's face changed. What's the problem, boss? Everything else is easy to say, but this main material, hydrogen metal, can't be produced at all with the industrial level 500 years ago, Liu Hongxi said with a flushed face, as if he was suspected of deceiving his boss. What equipment is needed to produce hydrogen metal? Sue showed a thoughtful look on his face. When he made this request, he didn't think too much about it. He just thought that the battery that came with his smart bracelet was great, but he didn't expect it to be made of hydrogen metal. In his world, hydrogen metal has not yet been invented. We only need to add a supercompressor to produce it. Because hydrogen metal can only be formed under the condition of millions of atmospheric pressure, Liu Hongxi hurriedly explained, and then thought about it and continued. This equipment is not too advanced. It is only about 100 years ahead of your limit. Where can I get a supercompressor? Sue asked directly. After all, advanced technology must have advanced technology to achieve it. There is a factory that produces supercompressors in the industrial park south of Jinquan City. Okay, transfer the information to my bracelet, and I will find a way. Okay, boss. Liu Hongxi quickly transferred the required information to Sue's smart bracelet, obviously doing his homework in advance. Got it. You guys keep busy. Sue flipped through Yao Guang's information and prepared to leave. Boss, what should we do next? Ji Tongguang hurriedly caught up and asked. Here, according to this, design a mobile phone that is 20 to 30 years ahead of time. The system can be equipped with pseudo-artificial intelligence. But it must be designed with the industrial production level of 500 years ago. After thinking for a while, Sue took out a latest model of Apple mobile phone from his trouser pocket, which was actually the storage space. He bought this online and prepared it for his family, but now he used it as a prototype. Okay, no problem, boss. I guarantee to complete the task as soon as possible. Ji Tongguang took the antique mobile phone with both hands, with a generous expression on his face. Don't be so nervous, take your time. After that, Su Wei left the Ministry of Science and Technology. Old Ji, why is the boss so obsessed with the technology of 500 years ago? Liu Hongxi on the side couldn't help asking. How do you think our current productivity compares to 500 years ago? Ji Tongguang asked instead of answering. Well, it's definitely not comparable. After the catastrophe, the world is equivalent to primitive society. Wait, does the boss want to start from scratch? Liu Hongxi complained with a depressed look, but then he suddenly realized it. Yes, we only have a bunch of theories now. If we want to complete the great cause of technological revival, we have to start from scratch and take one step at a time. Ji Tongguang thought he knew Su Wei very well, and his face was full of admiration. Well, I understand. The boss is a wise man. Liu Hongxi also looked educated. If Su Wei knew their thoughts, he would be ashamed. Fortunately, he didn't know. After leaving the Ministry of Science and Technology, Su Wei drove the transport truck directly out of the camp and teleported back to the rental house. No matter what you do, your own strength is the top priority. The last battle with the four great kings made Su Wei understand his own gap, not to mention Yu Na, the Awakener, and Zhang Ling who dared to go to the ruins of the city alone. Therefore, strength has become Su Wei's most desired thing now. It happened that Qin Hong gave him 3 intermediate strengthening potions, so he naturally had to use them as soon as possible. He opened the level 4 strengthening potion and drank it. The taste was as bad as ever. Perhaps he could consider asking Mr. Qin to improve the taste problem. A familiar pain came, but as the body strengthened, the endurance also increased, which was still within the acceptable range. After more than a quarter of an hour, the pain disappeared, and Su Wei felt the increase in strength, proving that the potion had been fully absorbed. However, the effect this time was not as obvious as before, and it only increased by about 10 times. After drinking the level 5 potion, it took more than an hour to feel the improvement, but it only increased by about 12 times. After drinking the level 6 potion, there was no news. There was no need to doubt the authenticity of the potion, but the bottleneck that Qin Lao said had come. Whether it could be broken through depended on Su Wei's own conditions. The bottleneck period was different for everyone. Some would appear when they were strengthened at level 1, and some would have to reach level 9. Once they broke through, it would be like the sky was high and the birds flew, and the sea was wide and the fish swam. If they could not break through, it would be a matter of life. Therefore, Su Wei could not help but feel a little anxious. It would be unfair if he was stuck at level 6 strengthening. In modern times, one could fight dozens of people, but this level would be the bottom of the world in the wasteland. How could he make trouble? But there is no other way except to wait quietly. Chapter 29, First Secretary. Fortunately, what Su Wei was worried about did not happen. The next morning, he felt the improvement of the strength, which was 16 times stronger. Just when Su Wei was overjoyed, he received a call from the food factory, informing him that the order had been completed and could be delivered at any time. Su Wei sent the address of the freight yard and asked them to transport the food to the warehouse, and added another order of 500,000. The person in charge of the food factory was so happy that he didn't even ask for the advance payment, and went to arrange production. After practicing boxing in the rented house for a whole morning and getting familiar with the strengthened body, Su Wei drove to the freight yard in the suburbs. Fortunately, he encountered a big traffic jam. Pagani Wind God also expressed helplessness. After all, it is not real wind and cannot be as free as the wind. Su Wei, who was still thinking about going to run from medicinal materials after receiving the food, was a little confused. Why does it feel that it is not enough every day? Huh? Bored, Su Wei looked around and saw a familiar figure at the door of a clothing store on the street. She was tall, wearing a black suit skirt, with a banner saying welcome hanging on her chest, looking like a salesperson. Isn't it Li Xiaoman? Isn't she a shopping guide at a luxury car store? What is she doing here? Could it be that buying a car also gives away clothes? But they are not famous brands. After a while of thinking, Su Wei decided to go over and take a look, at least to find out what was going on. After taking the time to park the car in a parking space on the side of the road, Su Wei walked towards the clothing store. Welcome, summer sale, 20% off for 1 piece, 70% off for 2 pieces. Why are you here? Seeing someone coming, Lee Xia-oman shouted hard, but when she got closer, it turned out to be Sue. Her little face suddenly turned red, white, and green, as if she had opened a dyeing shop, complicated and inexplicable. Why do you work here? Where is your previous job? Sue asked with a puzzled look on his face. I didn't like my previous job, so I quit. I haven't found a good one yet, so I'm here for a while, Lee Xia-oman said with a slight smile on her face, but anyone with a discerning eye could see that it was a little forced. When did it happen? Why didn't you tell me? Not long ago? Just a few days ago? Don't you want to contact me after things get settled? Lee Xia-oman, you're chatting during work hours. Do you want to quit? Just then, a fat middle-aged woman came out of the store and said to Lee Xia-oman with a mean look. Sorry, manager, I met an acquaintance and just chatted with him. Lee Xia-oman hurriedly explained to the middle-aged woman and signaled Sue to leave first. But Sue didn't mean to leave and stood there motionless. Sir, please don't delay our business, okay? Humph, you still flirt during work hours. I'll deduct half a day's salary from you. The store manager looked at Sue, then turned around and shouted at Lee Xia-oman. Humph, a little goblin, a little white face, neither of them is a good thing. The middle-aged woman couldn't help but feel jealous. Lee Xia-oman's face turned red with anger, but as a temporary worker, who could she go to for justice? Manager, right? We're resigning now. Bye. After Sue finished speaking, he took Lee Xia-oman's hand and walked back. Hey, you. Lee Xia-oman couldn't resist Sue's strength, and she didn't want to resist. You? The manager's face turned green with anger, but he stopped after a few steps because he saw Sue open the door of a super cool sports car and stuff Lee Xia-oman in like a chicken. Rich second generation? It's better not to mess with such people. Thinking of this, the middle-aged woman turned back to the store, pretending that nothing had happened. This is Pagani Fengshan, 90 million, in the car. Lee Xia-oman was shocked. As a shopping guide in a luxury car store, she naturally knew this cool supercar. In the entire Hudu city, oh no, the entire southwest region, there is probably only one like this. Well, how is it? Very cool. Sue sat in the driver's seat, saying with a smug look on his face, almost saying that he was about to praise me. Oh my god, this is not just cool, it's simply awesome, okay? Lee Xia-oman rolled her eyes at Sue. But when she remembered that he bought a Bugatti Veyron like buying a cabbage, she was not surprised. Where is the Bugatti Veyron? Lee Xia-oman couldn't help asking. It's parked at home, Sue answered casually. Oh my god, you're occupying a public parking space with a luxury car, be a decent person. Lee Xia-oman rolled her eyes again. Okay, stop talking about me, talk about you, what's going on? Sue continued to ask. Didn't I just say it? Lee Xia-oman's face suddenly turned red, and her eyes wandered. Tell the truth. Sue's face turned cold, and he couldn't help but have a hint of the air of a superior, the air of a cuckold. Lee Xia-oman was so angry at him that she felt wronged and wanted to cry, and her two big eyes were slightly red. However, she still told the story. Lee Xia-oman's beauty made the manager of the specialty store covet her and wanted to make her his concubine. However, Lee Xia-oman was unwilling to do so, which made him unable to do so. He was also afraid that it would be embarrassing if things got badly out of hand. As a result, Sue's appearance changed everything. Somehow, the manager found out about this and threatened Lee Xia-oman. Lee Xia-oman naturally wouldn't agree and resigned directly. The manager was furious and used his influence in the circle to prevent Lee Xia-oman from finding a job in the industry. She could only rely on temporary work to make a living. It was a bit miserable. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Sue said with a sad face. After all, Lee Xia-oman was his first woman. Although he hated her at that time, he still had a different feeling. Why should I tell you? Everything is my own will. What does it have to do with you? Lee Xia-oman lowered her head, her little face was red, like a ripe red apple. I'm sorry, Sue apologized sincerely. Now it seems that Lee Xia-oman is not the kind of person he imagined. Oh, forget it. I don't know if I owed you in my previous life. Last time I saw you, you lost your job. Today I saw you, you lost your job. Who can I go to for justice? Lee Xia-oman couldn't help complaining. Thinking about having to find a new job tomorrow, she felt a headache. I just happen to be in need of a secretary. Why don't you come and work with me? Su Wei suddenly had a new idea. As the saying goes, what is a secretary for? Are you sure I'm working with you, not for you? Li Xiaoman looked at Su Wei with suspicion. Ahem, Greek letter sigma, eh? What are you thinking about? If something really happened, I can't handle it alone. And I'm hiring someone. Su Wei was so angry that he almost died. This girl's brain circuit is a bit too big. Am I that kind of person? Okay. Anyway, I don't have anywhere to go for the time being, so I'll listen to your arrangements, Li Xiaoman said with a sly smile. She had suffered so much injustice, so she should give this guy a hard time. Okay, it's settled. Su Wei was immediately happy. Who wouldn't love a beautiful and capable secretary? Wait, before going to work, we have to calculate today's losses. A week's salary, today's loss of work, food expenses, and more. This dress cost 200 yuan. You have to compensate me for all these. Li Xiaoman counted on her fingers. Okay, an annual salary of 1 million, is it enough? Su Wei said as he drove on the road. 1 million, a scream came from the Pagani wind god, and it rushed straight into the sky, scaring the surrounding cars to retreat 3 meters. Chapter 30, Being Cyberbullied. With the addition of Li Xiaoman, Su Wei felt relieved, at least he could spare more time to do what he wanted to do. He first took Li Xiaoman to the cargo yard, quietly put the food into the storage space, and began to give her tasks. The first is to find time to buy the secluded cargo yard, the second is to purchase medicinal materials according to the list, the third is to add some other types of orders to the food processing plant. Li Xiaoman took out a small notebook from somewhere, recorded it word for word, and soon entered the role of the first secretary. You can't do without hard work. An annual salary of 1 million, oh, seeing Li Xiaoman's energetic appearance, Su Wei was very pleased and directly gave her 1 billion in startup funds. If it was not enough, he would add more. It was simply inhumane. On the way back, Li Xiaoman drove Su Wei back to Yunshujian No. 1. She was directly immune to this luxurious courtyard. After parking the car, Li Xiaoman left alone. When Su Wei returned home, Shuang had already left. Xiao Wei was cooking in the kitchen and hurried to help. Sister Wei, is the old man better? Su Wei asked while washing vegetables. Much better. He is now under observation in the rehabilitation center. It will probably take some time to give the results. Xiao Wei's face was filled with a happy smile. That's good. When the old man is discharged from the hospital, let's go visit him together, Su Wei suggested. He also wanted to know the effect of the life potion. Okay, Xiao Wei's eyes were filled with a strange light, and her heart was filled with joy. Just as dinner started, Su Wei's cell phone rang. He took it out and saw that it was Zhang Dai calling. Old Su, something happened. Go to the school network and check it out. As soon as the call was connected, Zhang Dai's anxious voice came. Huh? What's the matter? So panicked, Su Wei was stunned when he heard this. He basically didn't pay attention to the school network. What else could have happened? Oh, check it out yourself. Hang up, I'm busy. Double kill beat Nima. Did something happen? You still have the mood to spray pesticides after something happened? So it wasn't you who got into trouble, right? Bitch. Although he was full of complaints, Su Wei still opened the campus network and started to read it. You won't know until you read it, and you'll be shocked. A hero who once stood up for justice has fallen into a gigolo. Is it the sadness of heroes, or the sinister nature of human beings? A college boy who is kept by someone is found in Huatou University. I don't want to work hard anymore. Su Wei, please help me. 10 years of hard study no one cares, but one trick of keeping someone is known to the world. Su Wei, come out. For the sake of the campus beauty of He University, we will never beat you to death. Morally corrupt people, get out of Huatou University. All of them are chapters accusing Su Wei of crimes, but the most are the anger from He fans. The last time the campus beauty of He University asked Su Wei to have lunch together, He fans were already full of resentment. Now it has been revealed that Su Wei is kept by the president of Ziwei Group, which undoubtedly makes these He fans hate Su Wei to the extreme. Comments of scumbag and scum are flying everywhere. All the good things Su Wei had done in the past were covered up, leaving only a completely negative image. As Su Wei read on, his brows furrowed. There were not only articles on the school website, but also pictures and the truth. Those pictures were some intimate photos of him and Xiao Wei, at the school gate, on the street, downstairs of the company, and even at the gate of Yunshujian number 1 courtyard, where the two went out together. This was definitely a picture taken by someone with a purpose, otherwise it would not be so detailed, and people could tell at a glance. Coupled with those guiding posts, it is not difficult to see that someone was deliberately targeting him. Xiaohu, what's wrong? Xiaowei, who was standing aside, saw Su Wei's bad face and asked hurriedly. Sister Wei, take a look for yourself. Su Wei handed the phone directly to Xiaowei. Xiaowei was immediately amused when she saw those headlines. So many people actually thought Su Wei was her kept gigolo. But the more she read, the more angry she became. In the end, Xiaowei was so angry that she slammed the table and stood up. Shameless, that was no longer gossip news, but a direct personal attack, and it even began to involve the privacy of her family. Such remarks must be zero tolerance. Xiaohu, it's obvious that someone wants to ruin your reputation. Do you know who this person is? Xiaowei said angrily. It's not just lice on a bald head, it's obvious. Su Wei had already known the result in his mind. Many posts were pinned by the student union. Who else has such power except Guo Minglian? Guo Minglian? Humph, he dares to do this. Xiaowei was a little surprised, but also expected. Some people just don't repent. Okay, Sister Wei, don't worry about this matter, just arrange for the company's legal department to cooperate with me, Su Wei said and put away his phone. Okay, I'll contact the legal department now, don't be so anxious, it's the same if you wait until tomorrow, but Xiaowei didn't listen to Su Wei, and directly called the person in charge of the company's legal department and asked him to follow Su Wei's arrangements. The good atmosphere was immediately destroyed. After the two hurriedly finished their meal, they chatted casually for a few words and went back to their rooms to rest. The next morning, Xiaowei went to work as usual, and Su Wei drove the Pagani Fengshan all the way to school. The 90 million yuan supercar naturally attracted everyone's attention, but when they saw Su Wei coming down from the driver's seat, everyone showed a look of contempt. In everyone's eyes, he was just a gigolo kept by the president, and he was showing off everywhere, which was simply shameless. Su Wei didn't care about this, and went to the classroom as he pleased. Except for Zhang Dai and Zhang Su, all the classmates in the class had a weird look on their faces. Liu Tingting looked at Su Wei with a mocking expression, making a gesture that said you're done. Su Wei, come to my office. Not long after sitting down, the counselor Zhang Chengbing walked in. Coming, Su Wei got up and followed him out. Su Wei, have you seen all the information on the campus network? Zhang Chengbing asked in the office with a serious face. I have seen it, but it's all rumors, not worth mentioning, Su Wei said indifferently. Rumors? You say it easily. Do you know how much disaster this incident has brought to the school? Do you know how much negative impact this has caused to the students? Zhang Chengbing slammed the table and said sternly. Teacher Zhang. Why don't you investigate the truth of the matter first? Is it reasonable for you to scold me, the victim, here? Su Wei was not moved at all. You? Victim? There is no smoke without fire. If you are upright, how could these things happen? Are you going to say that those pictures are fake? Zhang Chengbing's face changed. Who gave him such confidence as a student from the countryside? Even he felt that he couldn't defeat him. Pictures? That's easy. As long as the time and angle of the photo are right, Su Wei had an expression that said I won't admit it. Let me tell you clearly, Su Wei, this incident has not only attracted the attention of the school's top management, but also attracted social attention. Therefore, it is necessary to eliminate the negative impact of the incident as soon as possible. You should drop out of school. We will not hold you responsible, Zhang Chengbing said bluntly. Chapter 31 If you don't pursue, I will. Drop out of school. Su Wei couldn't help laughing when he heard this. What a fool this guy is. Su Wei, this is already very considerate of you. If you are expelled by the school, your life will be left with a huge stain. Think about it, although you don't have a diploma, it will not affect your job search. It's just a little more ordinary. Why bother to make everyone look bad? After the big stick, Zhang Chengbing persuaded earnestly. Besides, you have the CEO's support, so why worry about your job? Teacher Zhang, there is no room for negotiation. I will not drop out of school, Su Wei replied coldly. Su Wei, you have to think it over. You can still understand it privately from me. If it really gets out of hand, the school has the right to hold you accountable. At that time, your reputation will be really bad. Zhang Chengbing had a threatening look on his face. Humph, If you don't hold me accountable, I will. Let's see who'll take the responsibility. Su Wei, you? Zhang Chengbing was so angry that his face turned red, but Su Wei was unmoved, and he had no choice. I can't fly out of this colorful world. Just then, Zhang Chengbing's phone rang. Hello, principal. What's good? Good. The phone call was as fierce as a tiger, and Zhang Chengbing's momentum disappeared instantly. He looked at Su Wei, who was calm and composed, with a complicated and incomprehensible expression. Well, Principal Ma, please come over. This, Zhang Chengbing felt like a thunder exploded in his head, dizzy and painful. Then let's go. Su Wei smiled slightly and walked out of the office first. Zhang Chengbing hurriedly followed him. It was early in the morning, but his forehead was already slightly sweaty. Su Wei naturally knew the reason for Zhang Chengbing's drastic change in attitude. Calculating the time, the company's legal affairs should have arrived at the school. At this moment, in the principal's office of Huidu University, Ma Shangwen's head was bigger than the other two, looking at the three men in black sitting opposite him, with an embarrassed face. These three people were Cheng Sidan, the legal director of Ziwei Group, and two assistants. Apart from the name of Ziwei Group, Cheng Sidan is a well-known iron hammer in the legal profession. The prey caught by him will definitely bleed heavily. There are also a man and a woman in the office, two middle-aged people, namely Vice Principal Kong Jinhu and Dean of Education Zuyuki. Director Cheng, we did not deal with the remarks about Su Wei on the school website. Please give us some time to clean it up and give Su Wei a satisfactory explanation. What do you think? Kong Jinhu said to Cheng Sidan with a smile on his face, trying to break the awkward atmosphere. Vice Principal Kong, it is your job to investigate the rumors. As for the results, let's wait for our chairman to come, Cheng Sidan said with a stern face. Chairman? Is President Xia coming too? Ma Shangwen and others were shocked. Although Ziwei Group has some weight, the identity of the Xia family is even more terrifying. Xia Wei's personal visit, isn't this going to kill someone? No, it's the chairman of the group, Mr. Su Wei. Cheng Sidan quietly dropped a bombshell. Mr. Su Wei, the director of the group, Ma Shangwen and others were so shocked that they almost jumped up from the sofa. Originally, they were only concerned about Xia Wei's identity and were prepared to vaguely eliminate the matter. Unexpectedly, Su Wei had a bigger background and was actually the chairman of Ziwei Group. After all, Xia Wei was just an employee under him, so the rumor of keeping her was self-defeating. Those posts were indeed rumors. If they were seriously investigated, the school would also have an unshirkable responsibility. Is this a mistake? How could Su Wei be the chairman of Ziwei Group? Zuyuki, the director of teaching, had a look of disbelief on her face. She knew the situation of the students in the school in general, and there was absolutely no such person. A month ago, Mr. Su invested 30 billion to acquire the Ziwei Group in its entirety. He is the real chairman. Do we need to provide relevant proof? Cheng Sidan stared at Zhu Qiayu with cold eyes. In the briefcase in his hand, there was absolutely all the information that was needed and might be used. No, Zuyuki waved his hands hurriedly. It was already this time, so it was better not to worsen the relationship. At this moment, Su Wei and Zhang Chengbing walked in. Mr. Su. Good morning. Cheng Sidan stood up with two assistants and greeted Su Wei. Director Cheng, you've worked hard. Su Wei stepped forward and shook hands with Cheng Sidan. It's not hard, it's my job, Cheng Sidan said modestly, but his face was still cold, a typical cold-faced person. Ha, Mr. Su, you are really young and promising. If this incident hadn't happened, we wouldn't have known that there was such a great god hidden in Huidu University. I'm sorry, Ma Shangwen laughed, stood up and took the initiative to shake Su Wei's hand, and started a conversation enthusiastically. How could someone who could acquire the Xia family's company be incompetent? President Ma, you're too kind. What's the matter with Mr. Dong? You should just call me Su Wei. After all, I'm still a student, right? Facing Ma Shangwen's sudden enthusiasm, Su Wei smiled and passed it over. As he spoke, he sat down again, but only Su Wei and Ma Shangwen were there, and the others stood aside consciously. Especially Zhang Chengbing stood at the outermost, almost going out the door. Okay. Su Wei, let's get straight to the point. How do you want this matter to be handled? At this point, Ma Shangwen couldn't hide it. Principal Ma, this matter has already involved personal attacks. So, first of all, the school must issue a document to clarify my innocence. Secondly, the students' union abused its power and made a lot of publicity, and it must be rectified. Thirdly, anyone involved in this matter will be severely punished, Su Wei said, and he intentionally or unintentionally glanced at Zhang Chengbing, who was at the outermost, and the latter was immediately frightened and paralyzed. Please rest assured, I will definitely give you a satisfactory answer, Ma Shangwen patted his chest and promised. With a legal team there, Ma Shangwen had no choice but to agree. After getting the guarantee from the school, Su Wei, Cheng Sidong and others left with satisfaction. The little monk went down the mountain to beg for food. The old monk has instructions. As soon as he left the principal's office, Su Wei's cell phone rang. He took it out and saw that it was the school beauty He. Hello, classmate E. What do you want to talk to me about? I heard that you were invited by the principal. He Shuang's worried voice came from the phone. It's okay, our principal just heard that I am young, talented, and suave. So he specially asked me to meet him. Bah, he said you are fat, and you are still panting. Have you read all the posts on the school website? I have, but it doesn't matter. They will all disappear before today. Really, it's more needle-like than a needle tip. That's good, bye, do up. This call caught Su Wei off guard. He thought that the school beauty he wanted to comfort his injured little heart. Overthinking. Chapter 32 Expulsion. President Guo, we're safe this time. Su Wei is already a nobody, Rao Heichuan said with a smug smile in the Students' Union meeting room. In addition to him and Guo Minglian, there were also Liu Tingting, Wang Jiwei and others, which made the meeting particularly lively. HMPH, he's still a little naive to fight with me. Guo Minglian was very happy when he saw the projection screen full of posts cursing Su Wei. Wait until the photo of him running naked is uploaded, and then he'll be completely finished, Wang Jiwei continued, still brooding over Su Wei's provocation. Can we open champagne tonight to celebrate? Liu Tingting also came out to show her presence. To be honest, when she saw Su Wei driving a Bugatti, she really had a little regret. But now, HMPH, let regret go to hell. No problem, I'll treat you tonight at Huaga Dynasty. Guo Minglian waved his hand generously. Mr. Guo is mighty, everyone cheered immediately. Click. At this moment, the door of the meeting room was opened from the outside, and Kong Jinhu walked in with a few people. Guo Minglian, as the president of the student union, you believed in rumors and damaged the reputation of Su Wei. From now on, the school will remove you from the position of students' union president, record a demerit, and keep you on probation, Kong Jinhu announced directly. What? Uncle Kong, oh no, Vice President Kong, you must have made a mistake. Guo Minglian jumped up in shock. Yes. There are pictures and the truth, how can it become a rumor? Rao Heichuan on the side also stood up. Humph, Su Wei is the chairman of Ziwei Group. With his status, don't you think what you did is a joke? Kong Jinhu stared at Guo Minglian with a look of disappointment. What? When Kong Jinhu said this, everyone jumped up in shock. How could this be possible? Liu Tingting was even more stunned on the spot, as if she was struck by lightning. A sense of extreme regret rose up. Hand over, and you will go to the teaching department to accept the punishment. Kong Jinhu turned around and left after saying this. The others would stay to take over the affairs of the student union. Not Kong. Guo Minglian immediately chased after him. Uncle Kong, what's going on? In the corridor, Guo Minglian finally caught up with Kong Jinhu. The legal department of Ziwei Group has intervened in this matter. If we don't deal with it, we will take legal action, Kong Jinhu said in a low voice as he walked. Guo Minglian was shocked again. If this matter rises to the legal level, they will definitely be held accountable. So, you'd better find the main person responsible, otherwise it may be difficult to satisfy the legal representative of Ziwei Group, Kong Jinhu said and walked away without looking back, leaving Guo Minglian in the corridor. Humph. Su Wei, let's wait and see. After a long time, Guo Minglian showed a gloomy expression, and his eyes became more ruthless. However, he soon restrained everything and walked back to the meeting room with a calm face. Mr. Guo. What's going on? Seeing Guo Minglian walk in, Rao Heichuan and others crowded around him, their faces panicked. Shouldn't Su Wei, who has lost his morals, be expelled from the campus? How come they were the ones who had to bear the punishment? Graduation was imminent, and the stain was very difficult to erase. Don't ask anything, I just don't know, Guo Minglian said coldly. The hearts of several people fell to the bottom. This is the rhythm of giving up resistance. Heichuan, Do you believe me? Guo Minglian suddenly asked without thinking. I do. At noon, before the school cafeteria opened, an important notice was broadcast on the radio. The general content is as follows: after investigation by the school, the remarks about Su Wei on the school website are all rumors and will be deleted. The main person responsible for inciting public opinion, honorary vice president of the student union Rao Haichuan, will be expelled from school. Student Union President Guo Minglian resigned from the position of Student Union President due to poor supervision. When this news came out, the whole school was in an uproar. Everyone hurriedly logged on to the school network to check, and sure enough, all the related posts had been deleted. At the same time, a school announcement was posted regarding the handling of this rumor incident. It mentioned that Su Wei was the chairman of Ziwei Group, which was more powerful than any evidence. For a time, public opinion returned to Su Wei's side. Those who were deceived naturally cursed Rao Haichuan and others. At the same time, everyone was also surprised at Su Wei's background. He was a director of the group company before he had any other business. Isn't this a fuss? Interesting. When did Rao Haichuan become the honorary vice president? Looking at the school's announcement, Su Wei smiled coldly. It seems that Guo Minglian has a lot of umbrellas. Then let him jump around for 2 more days, and when the Guo family is completely kicked out, see how he can still jump around. It seems that the progress of hydrogen batteries needs to be accelerated, and we will go to work on that super compressor later. Old Su, you old Sadie. You actually hit it so well. I still take care of you everywhere, don't you feel guilty? After reading the school announcement, Zhang Su felt bad all over, staring at Su Wei like a resentful young wife. Ahem, if I say this is an accident, do you believe it? Su Wei, who was drinking a beverage, almost sprayed him with salt soda. What do you think? Zhang Su's eyes became even more resentful. You became a billionaire by accident, so why not me? This is a good thing. Old Zhang, you are so resentful. People who don't know would think you are going to die, Zhang Dai on the side teased while chewing a steamed bun. Shut up, can't you shut your mouth even when eating? Humph, you are already a billionaire, and you have to pay for the dinner expenses in the future. After Zhang Su directly retorted, he looked at Su Wei with joy, and felt like a surf rising up and singing, fighting landlords and beating local tyrants. What the hell do you want? There are still 1 or 2 months before graduation, how many times can we get together? Zhang Dai on the side poured cold water on him at the right time. That's right, is it so easy for this kid? No, Su Wei, I want to break up with you, you played with my pure feelings. Zhang Su came to his senses and complained unwillingly. Come on, after graduation, both of you stay in Huadu City. Whether you join Ziwei Group or start your own business, I'll take care of it, Su Wei said proudly. Fuck. You said that? Zhang Su jumped up from the bench and shouted in surprise at Su Wei. Yes, I said it. Do you want me to say it again and record it for you? No, we are friends. Right, Mr. Su. Zhang Su's face changed immediately. Where is the resentment just now? Where is the agreed breakup? Zhang Dai on the side was so excited that he stuffed another steamed bun with a surprised smile on his face, but his mouth was swollen and looked particularly wretched. Chapter 33 Regret. After finishing lunch in the cafeteria, Su Wei and the other 2 chatted for a while before returning to the classroom. When they returned to the classroom, the class was about to start. Hello, classmates. My name is Qin Liangying. I will be your counselor in the next period of time. You can come to me if you have any questions. As the bell rang, a beautiful woman with long black hair walked in. Her face was still shy, but also full of enthusiasm and fighting spirit. What's the situation? Where is Counselor Zhang? You are about to graduate. Why did you leave so suddenly? SHH, keep your voice down. I guess you offended someone. Oh, looking at the sudden counselor, everyone except Su Wei was confused. What's wrong? Don't you welcome me? Qin Liangying deliberately showed a lost expression. Welcome. Warmly welcome. Warm applause suddenly rang out in the class. Beautiful girl. Who doesn't like it? For a time, Qin Liangying's support rate soared. Next, there was a round of self-introductions, which not only allowed Qin Liangying to get to know everyone, but also enhanced the relationship between everyone, and they soon became friends. When it was Su Wei's turn to introduce herself, Qin Liangying inexplicably cast a grateful look at him. If it weren't for this kind of thing, her regularization would probably be a long way off. However, Su Wei naturally didn't know these, but he just felt that Qin Liangying's eyes were a little strange when he looked at him. Next, announce the final results of this semester. Before the end of get out of class, Qin Liangying projected the test results on the blackboard. The first place was Su Wei, and the original academic master Wang Jiwei ranked second, lagging behind by as much as 10 points. The whole class was in an uproar, because everyone thought of the bet between Su Wei and Wang Jiwei after the exam. Unexpectedly, Su Wei actually got the first place in the class. Did this guy cheat? Okay, next, please go all out to prepare for the graduation project and strive to get a better score. After encouraging everyone, Qin Liangying left the classroom. However, the classroom was still very quiet, and even the sound of a pin drop could be heard. Crash! Su Wei pushed the table and stood up, walking towards the classroom door on his own. Everyone's eyes followed his figure. Just as he was about to walk out the door, Su Wei's figure suddenly stopped. The atmosphere instantly condensed, and everyone couldn't help holding their breath. Ah, who said that we should run naked in the first place? Su Wei suddenly turned around, searching the crowd, and finally locked on Wang Jiwei, who was sitting in the front row with a sullen face. Class monitor Wang, you should have forgotten it, right? Su Wei walked up to Wang Jiwei, put his hands on the table, and looked down at Wang Jiwei. Wang Jiwei's face flushed red, but he couldn't say a word. Class monitor, you must keep your word. Otherwise, your reputation will be ruined, Zhang Su shouted in a mean voice, attracting some classmates to follow suit. Damn it, running naked is not the same as losing your reputation in your later years. Wang Jiwei thought bitterly, but dared not speak. Class monitor Wang, give me a definite answer. When will your performance start? Let's all go and show our support, Su Wei said with a smile on his face, but in Wang Jiwei's eyes, it was like the smile of the son of the devil. And his back felt cold. I didn't tell you the time at that time. I'll tell you when I have time, Wang Jiwei said with a red face. There was no way. Now that Guo Minglian had stopped, he didn't dare to challenge Su Wei. Tisk, the students who were originally watching the show couldn't help but make a contemptuous sound. That's it? And betting with others? It's simply a disgrace to us men. Okay, no problem. Let me know when you have time. Su Wei smiled indifferently and turned to walk out of the classroom. Wang Jiwei was confused. Is this the end? Su Wei just let him go? For a moment, Su Wei's tall image of repaying evil with virtue was immediately imprinted in everyone's mind. Looking at that back, it seemed that he became taller in an instant. Crash! At this time, Liu Tingting, who was sitting next to him, stood up quickly and chased out. Su Wei, in the corridor, Liu Tingting finally caught up with Su Wei and stood in front of him. Something's wrong. Su Wei looked up at Liu Tingting, then asked indifferently. Su Wei, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Guo Minglian forced me to do that. In fact, I still love you in my heart. Really? Liu Tingting's face was full of tears, and she spoke sincerely. That expression seemed to have suffered a great injustice, and I felt pity for her. I don't believe you. Liu Tingting, we are all adults, don't insult my IQ, okay? If you have nothing else to do, get out of the way. I have something else to do, Su Wei said with an unhappy face. No, Su Wei, things are really not what you think enough. Some things, once missed, can never be turned back. You can take care of yourself. Goodbye. After Su Wei finished speaking, he walked away. Liu Tingting wanted to stop him, but she lost sight of Su Wei in a flash. Turning around, she saw that Su Wei had reached the end of the corridor and disappeared after turning a corner. Liu Tingting stopped after chasing him for a few steps, because Su Wei's attitude was too firm and he was not as tolerant as Wang Jiwei. What could she say if she caught up with him? Woo woo woo! Liu Tingting's regretful cry came from the corridor. After getting rid of Liu Tingting, Su Wei went directly to Qin Liangying to ask for leave, in Zhang Chengbing's former office. With Principal Ma's special instructions, Qin Liangying naturally gave the green light to Su Wei's affairs. After leaving the office, Su Wei went directly to the parking lot to drive. The Pagani Windga drove out of the campus with a blasting sound and gradually went away. Originally, he was going back to Yunshujian No. 1 courtyard, but halfway through, Su Wei changed his mind because Li Xiaoman called and said that the first batch of medicinal materials had been put into storage, and asked him to take time to take a look. Su Wei turned the steering wheel and went directly to the cargo yard in the suburbs. After putting the medicinal materials into the storage space, he went to the rental cabin without stopping. After sending a message to Xiaowei and others, Su Wei teleported to the wasteland world. After looking around, there was no one around. Su Wei released a mighty transport vehicle from the space, loaded a full truck with food, and then stepped on the accelerator to drive towards the Phaeton base. Boom! The survivors who were working outside the base heard the roar of the engine and couldn't help looking up, only to see a mighty all-terrain transport vehicle rushing over from the wilderness. Naturally, envy appeared in everyone's eyes, because they all knew that this super-powerful transport vehicle belonged to the owner of the Phaeton base. Every time it appeared, it meant that the owner had found another batch of supplies and transported them back. This undoubtedly gave the survivors a shot of confidence, and they worked harder. Nowadays, in the Phaeton base, as long as you work, you can get paid. This is a good thing that you can't find even with a lantern. Chapter 34 Equipment. More than a dozen tons of food were transported into the base warehouse, which not only surprised Songdan and other leaders, but also gave the armed forces led by Yuna a reassurance. New humans are also people. Aren't they struggling in the wasteland just for a bite to eat? Now the Phaeton base can provide food stably, which is much richer than when Zhang Jun was there. That night, the Phaeton base was like the new year. Big bowls of white rice, large pieces of steamed bacon, and large basins of dehydrated vegetable soup. Many people almost ate the bowls. People under the oppression of the wasteland order showed a long-lost smile, singing and dancing in the base. Seeing this, Su Wei felt a sense of pride from the bottom of his heart. Perhaps, the old man gave him this ring in the hope that Su Wei, who was kind-hearted, could help the wasteland world. At this moment, Su Wei had a new understanding. Xiona, eat slowly, there's more if it's not enough. Su Wei looked at Yuna who was wolfing down in front of him, and hurriedly pushed his bowl over. He eats rice every day and doesn't feel anything anymore. But for Yuna and the others, they haven't eaten rice for 10 years. Even if they got some rice in the past, they would only use it to cook porridge. It was not such a luxury. Yet, Yuna didn't have time to answer, she just kept eating. Songdan, who was standing by, also let go of his reserve and concentrated on eating. A person who eats a lot, a soul who eats a lot, a person who eats a lot has to use a basin to eat. Songdan, when I came here, I saw a lot of soil piled outside the base. What is it used for? After eating, Su Wei asked Songdan, who looked very satisfied. Boss, this oil is used to reinforce the base wall. Didn't you say that the base should be built as solid as a rock? Songdan hurriedly explained carefully. Wall? With soil, Su Wei almost fainted when he heard it. A wall made of earth, what defense can it have? It will be gone after a rain. Boss, there's nothing we can do about it. Now the industry is abandoned. In a small place like ours, we can't get other building materials. We only have soil, stone and wood. We use the ancient method to fill it. The effect is not bad, but it is more labor-intensive and requires more frequent maintenance, Songdan explained with a guilty look. Su Wei provided a lot of food, but she couldn't do better. Building materials? I'll find a way to have people clear this oil away, and then collect as much stone and steel as possible. Su Wei touched his chin. Isn't it just cement? It's not a big deal. It will be enough after a few days of back and forth. Yes, boss, I'll arrange it right away. Songdan ran out after saying that. Su Wei wanted to stop him but it was too late. Brother Su, I heard that you are going to the industrial park in the south to find a super compressor. At this time, you now woke up from the aftertaste of the white rice. Well, I'll go tomorrow morning, Su Wei stretched and said. If you don't take the arm team, then take me. At least I have a helper. You now looked at Su Wei expectantly. No, we have been in the base for too short a time, and there may be hidden enemies, so you can't leave. You need to keep a close eye on the base. Su Wei hurriedly found a reason to refuse. He could fight if he could win alone, and run if he couldn't. It would be inconvenient to bring others with him. Okay. By the way, Brother Su, I have something for you. Yuna ran out. Brother Su, here. After a while, Yuna ran back with 2 boxes in her hands, panting slightly. What is this? Su Wei took the box suspiciously. It's not the New Year or other festivals. What kind of gift is it? You can open it and see. Right. Yuna was excited. Rings. Opening the first box, there were 2 black rings inside. Su Wei looked at Yuna with a rich look in his eyes. This is a pair of super sub-titanium alloy boxing gloves. I saw that your fighting skills were very powerful last time, so I thought this kind of weapon would be suitable for you, Yuna hurriedly explained. This set of super sub-titanium alloy boxing gloves is also called the Grip of Death. It is very simple to use. Just wear 2 rings on any finger of your 2 hands. After touching the switch, a layer of fish scale-like black metal will cover the entire palm. It is so thin that it seems to be nothing, but it is so hard that you can catch bullets with your bare hands. What a good thing. After listening to Yuna's introduction, Sue couldn't help but his eyes lit up. This is a magic weapon for fighting. What about this? A necklace. Sue couldn't wait to open the second box and took out a blue pendant from it. This is a super force field shield, which is controlled by consciousness and artificial intelligence. As she said, Yuna picked up the pendant and pointed it at Sue's eyes. A burst of blue light swept across, and the iris was successfully bound. Then it was paired with the intelligent brain on Sue's wrist, and finally placed on the center of the eyebrows to synchronize with the brain consciousness. Okay. Try it. Yuna tied the silver pendant around Sue's neck. Start, Sue muttered in his mind, and suddenly a light blue rectangular transparent shield appeared in the void in front of him. It can follow his consciousness and appear in front, behind, left, right, up, down, etc. The shield can be up to 3 meters away, and the size can be adjusted. The largest can be as big as a door, and the smallest can be the size of a palm. The larger and thinner it is, the weaker the defense. The smaller and thicker it is, the stronger the defense. In addition to consciousness control, intelligent brain control can also be used. In combat, the intelligent brain will release the force field shield and adjust the size and position according to the degree of threat. This is the latest technology before the catastrophe. The production is very rare and is only equipped in the special forces of the army. It can defend against more than 99% of thermal weapons attacks, and even some energy weapons are difficult to penetrate. Yuna couldn't help but sigh. This is a more powerful equipment than the Grip of Death. Great. But, Ziona, you should use this force field shield. You often lead the team to hunt, which is quite dangerous. No, Brother Sue, you forgot that I have an elemental body that is immune to physical damage. This force field is useless against attacks that can hurt me. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you, Ziona. Brother Sue, you don't have to say thank you to me. Yuna's face flushed with excitement when Sue patted her on the head. By the way, Ziona, where did you get these 2 things? Sue asked casually while playing with the death grip and the force field shield. Uncle Wang, the warehouse manager, exchanged them with me. He only used a box of canned meat. As she spoke, Yuna's face was full of pride. This was a treasure. Wang Boang. Sue couldn't help but think of a middle-aged man with 1 arm and 1 eye. When he went to the warehouse, he had dealt with this man before. He was a very kind person. Yes, that's him, Yuna nodded. Ziona, find someone reliable to check on this Wang Boan. I need all his information, as detailed as possible. Sue felt a little strange. Such equipment is not something that can be picked up casually. Brother Sue, do you think there is something wrong with him? Yuna looked puzzled. It's hard to say whether there is a problem or not, but I always feel that this person is not simple. It's better to be cautious. It's better to check it out. Okay, I know, Brother Sue. I will send someone to keep an eye on him tomorrow. Okay, it's getting late. Go to bed early. Sue stretched and stood up and walked towards the bedroom. Yuna blushed and followed him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35 Mature. When Sue reached the door of the room, he heard the footsteps behind him and stopped immediately. Ouch, Yuna, who was absent-minded, bumped into Sue's back, and her face turned even redder. Ziona, do you have anything else to do? Sue looked at Yuna with a surprised look on her face. Yuna lowered her head, buried her face in her chest, and said nothing. Ziona, are you sick? Sue couldn't help but reach out and touch Yuna's forehead. Well, it was a little hot, and her face was still red. Could it be that she had a fever? Awakened people have a fever? Well, some people said they had never heard of it. No, Yuna said timidly. Then why are you following me? Sue looked puzzled. Hey, Brother Suwei, I want to sleep with you tonight. When Yuna finished saying this, her whole body was limp, as if all her strength had been drained. Suwei was shocked. Who taught the child to be bad? Hey. That, Ziona, you are still young and don't understand some things. Brother Suwei, I am not young anymore. I am 18 years old. It's just that I haven't grown up because of malnutrition. Yuna felt unconvinced when she saw Suwei's eyes. She couldn't help but pause her young chest. Hey, that, Ziona, I have something to do tomorrow. I have to rest well tonight. Do you understand? Suwei racked his brains. Oh, okay. I'll wait for you to come back. Yuna was ready to leave with a look of disappointment. The resentful look in her eyes made me feel pity. Ziona, Suwei couldn't help but shout. Brother Suwei. Yuna immediately ran over with a smile on her face, thinking that Suwei had changed his mind. Well, who taught you to say that? Sister Song said that to capture a man's heart, you have to. Yuna's next words were so low that only she could hear them. Ziona, you have to be yourself and don't listen to what others say. Brother Suwei, Ziona really likes you in her heart. Well, okay, Ziona, you are not mature enough now. Let's talk about this later, okay? Suwei could only use the tactic of procrastination. Okay. Brother Suwei, I know. Don't worry, I will work hard. Yuna seemed to have an epiphany and ran away with a smile on her face. No? You know nothing, and you still let me rest assured. What kind of rest assured? Suwei was confused by what Yuna said, but don't guess what a girl is thinking. You can't guess it no matter how much you guess. Sleep. Just when Suwei ran to sleep, Yuna found Songdan. Minister Yu, why are you here? Is there something wrong with the boss? Songdan, who had arranged the work, looked at Yuna in surprise. According to the plan, shouldn't she be cooking rice? Sister Song, do you have any way to make me become like you? Yuna said without thinking. What? Just like me? Songdan was also confused. That's right, that's it. Yuna was speechless, so she had to raise her hand and compare it to her chest. Songdan was surprised. What was going on? Brother Su said he likes mature women. Songdan was stunned. She didn't realize that the boss had a special hobby. Why? Sister Song, is there nothing you can do? Yuna looked disappointed and inferior. Minister Yu, don't worry, leave it to me. Songdan immediately patted her chest and promised. Really? Let's go to my place now. Yes. After spending the first night in the apocalypse, Suwei rested well. Without the hustle and bustle of the city and neon lights, there was a feeling of returning to nature. Without saying hello to anyone, Suwei drove the mighty all-terrain transport vehicle out of the base and headed towards the industrial park in the south. Jinquan City, the closest city to the Phaeton base, is where Suwei almost died on the ground, if he hadn't met Zhang Ling and brought him out. I'm afraid he is still trapped in that small building. This is a city that once had a population of millions, but now it is full of zombies, mutants and powerful alien species, and has become a forbidden zone for humans. The catastrophe is extremely cruel to humans, but it is not a bad thing for nature. Without the wanton destruction of humans, nature is repairing the wounds of this planet at a crazy speed. Many of the tall and straight plants are beyond Suwei's cognition, and the creatures hidden in them are also strange. Insects as big as fists, birds as big as eagles, and even mushrooms as big as houses. However, according to the information, these things are not edible. Because of the pollution of viruses and radiation, the larger the size of the organisms, the more toxins they accumulate. After eating, humans will either die or go crazy. Only those with small size are the objects of human hunting. The main source of meat is mice that are not very mutated, but they can only be eaten in limited quantities, and eating too much will still cause poisoning. Why do we say that they are not very mutated? Because there are also completely mutated rats. Once, a rat that had mutated to high level appeared near the camp. It was as big as a millstone, with sharp teeth and a mouth. It could even bite through the armor of a tank. You can see how terrifying it is. The rat head, which is bigger than 2 basketballs, is still hung in the hall as a trophy. Mutated beasts are called mutant beasts. Their strength is divided into ordinary level, primary level, intermediate level, advanced level, and S level. Zombies are divided into ordinary level, soldier level, general level, commander level, and king level. Those above the general level are called alien species. Their biggest feature is that they can mobilize and command zombies of lower levels than them. The general level is okay. The zombies that can be commanded are only dozens to hundreds. But after reaching the commander level, there will be a qualitative leap. Although it is only within 1,000, it can control the general level alien species, and the general level alien species can control other zombies, and the number will increase exponentially. Once it grows up, it will be a devastating disaster to the surrounding settlements. This is the fundamental reason for the zombie tide. After nearly 2 hours of reading about the wasteland, Su Wei finally arrived at the industrial park in the southern suburbs. From the outside, the industrial park is well preserved. This is due to the high degree of artificial intelligence, which reduces the intensive labor force and makes the population of the industrial park extremely low. Even if they are infected and become zombies, the number is not large. At the same time, the nuclear explosion point is far away from here and did not cause much damage. After collecting the all-terrain transport vehicle, Su Wei quietly sneaked into the industrial area. There is no food reserve here, so naturally there are few survivors here. And there are no signs of major destruction. According to the electronic map on the smart bracelet, Su Wei quickly found the factory marked by Liu Hongxi. Chapter 36 Success. The metal fence was rusty, and the automatic door had long lost power and became a decoration. Looking at the silent factory area, Su Wei suddenly felt like he was in a horror movie, and the hair on his thighs stood up. Shit, when a person dies, the birds fly up to the sky. What's more, I have a golden finger. What's there to be afraid of? Activating the grip of death, a pair of palms were immediately wrapped by black fish scale-like metal objects. Su Wei easily climbed over the wall and entered the factory area. The surroundings were so quiet that only his heavy breathing could be heard. Gulp. Swallowing a mouthful of saliva, Su Wei walked towards the warehouse. Along the way, he stepped on the weeds and made bursts of clicking sounds. He always felt that someone was following him, but when he stopped, it was silent again. Guo Minglian, this account will be on your head, Su Wei thought bitterly. After more than 10 minutes of torment, Su Wei finally found the storage area. Oh my god, do you need so many? Looking at a row of more than a dozen warehouses, Su Wei was a little dumbfounded. Just look for it, what else can he do? Su Wei's resentment towards Guo Minglian increased. Bang! With 16 times the force, Su Wei broke into the door directly. AWW. A skinny zombie rushed up enthusiastically. Big brother. After 10 years, I finally see someone. Fuck, get out, Su Wei punched out reflexively, hitting the shriveled zombie's head. The huge force made its head burst like a watermelon, and it was a knockout punch. Crash. With a wave of his hand, the dirty blood stuck on the gloves fell to the ground without a drop left. Oh my, non-stick pan, nice, Su Wei immediately loved it even more. Turning on a strong flashlight, Su Wei slowly walked into the warehouse, turned around, and his face suddenly turned black. This was obviously a raw material warehouse, and there was no super compressor he was looking for. After prying open 7 or 8 warehouses in a row, he still couldn't find the super compressor he wanted, which made Su Wei feel discouraged. Isn't it a good day to look for things? Su Wei walked towards the 9th warehouse with a depressed look on his face. I wondered if I should check the almanac next time I go out. He broke into the warehouse as usual. Except for a burst of dust, there was no movement. It was another unattended warehouse. Su Wei's heart sank. He shone a strong flashlight inside, and saw a large wooden box with the word overpressure sprayed on the outside. Wait, that's an overpressure machine. Haha, son thief, I finally found you. Happiness came too suddenly, and Su Wei almost did a few backflips to celebrate. However, with a previous experience, Su Wei still carefully checked the entire warehouse to make sure there was no potential danger before starting to search. There were 40 large wooden boxes in total, which made Su Wei very happy. The target was found, and Su Wei's worry was completely put down. Even the surrounding environment didn't feel so scary. Why don't I take a look around? Su Wei looked at the remaining warehouses and thought, since he was here, he might as well see if there are any good goods. With this in mind, Su Wei ran to the warehouse marked with number 10. The greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. He just opened a lonely warehouse and got nothing. What bad luck. However, Su Wei was still unwilling to give up. He opened the remaining warehouses one after another. As expected, they were all empty. He didn't know whether they were not in production or just shipped. The last one, leave after you see it. Su-wei walked towards warehouse number 14. He had to finish what he had started. Hey, this smell is bloody. As soon as he approached the side door of warehouse number 14, Su-wei smelled a pungent fishy smell. Su-wei, who was more cautious, did not dare to open the door directly. Instead, he touched the back of the warehouse and crawled towards the skylight. With a grip of death, Su-wei could directly insert his hand into the wall and crawl on the vertical wall as if walking on flat ground. In a few breaths, he climbed to the skylight more than 6 meters high and looked inside through the dusty glass. Oh my! Su-wei was stunned. In the dim light, there were more than a dozen zombies in the empty warehouse. One of them was particularly strange. It was skinny but had a huge head. It was a bit out of proportion and looked like a big-headed baby. However, all the other zombies lined up and knelt down, offering fresh flesh and blood with their hands. There were mutant rats, mutant birds, mutant dog legs and even an insect as big as a dustpan. The big-headed zombie only ate a few bites of each thing, and the most essential parts. The rest was eaten by the zombies. The luxurious bloody feast made Su-wei's stomach churn. This thing, can it be the legendary general-level alien species? Su-wei complained in his heart. It was very laborious to find things, but he could find monsters accurately. The key point was that he couldn't beat them now. The two strongest zombies made Su-wei feel oppressed. They were undoubtedly stronger than the level 6 enhancers, not to mention the big-headed zombie. Just seeing its weird bloody eyes made people feel uneasy. The best strategy is to run away. But before leaving, I have to take a photo to confirm it with the people in the base. The industrial park is not far from the base. If it is really a general-level alien, it will be a huge hidden danger and must be eliminated as soon as possible. Click. A white light flashed. Fuck, I actually forgot to turn off the flash. Su-wei looked like he had bitten a dog. Roar. The next moment, an angry roar came from warehouse number 14. A dozen zombies that were eating directly broke through the gate and rushed towards Su-wei. Goodbye. Don't see me off. Su-wei didn't dare to stay for a moment. He kicked the wall with his feet and his body flew out of the factory like a cannonball. Roar. A dozen zombies behind him chased after him without giving up. One of the zombies with a petite figure and 4 limbs on the ground shot over like a bullet, jumped in front of Su-wei, turned around and pounced on Su-wei. Force field shield, Iron Mountain support. Su-wei didn't dare to pause. He quickly opened the field shield and crashed into the petite zombie with a shield. Bang! With a loud bang, the petite zombie was knocked away by Su-wei. With a force field shield blocking it, the opponent's clothes didn't even touch Su-wei. But the momentum brought by the petite zombie's super speed also stopped Su-wei's figure. The two strong zombies had already caught up, less than 10 steps away. Damn it, Su-wei hurriedly used all his strength to increase his speed, intending to shake off the two big guys. But at this moment, the petite zombie that was knocked away ran back again. Although its body was a little deformed and limping, it still rushed towards Su-wei without any scruples. Damn it, I gave you face, but you still come. It's a pity that I won't accompany you anymore. In vain, with the speed zombie blocking in front and the strength zombie punching in the back, Su-wei's face was full of laughter. Then, a faint white light flashed on his body, and the whole person disappeared, as clean as if he had never appeared. Bang! Although the zombies watched Su-wei disappear, they could not retract their bodies. The fist of the strength zombie just hit the speed zombie who could not stop. The speed zombie turned into a meteor across the sky and landed somewhere unknown. Goo 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 goo. The strength zombie shyly raised his hand and scratched his head, looking at a loss. Brother. Sorry. I missed. What about that thief son? Can he still turn into a living person? The following is omitted from the Zombie Brothers 100,000 Whys? Chapter 37 General Test. In the rental house, Su-wei's nervous laughter came. Fortunately, no one was around, otherwise I would have thought it was haunted. How can I describe the secret joy with just one word? Su-wei hummed a little tune, ran to the bathroom, took a comfortable hot bath, and then lay on the sofa to call Lee Xia-oman and asked her to go all out to purchase cement. However, there was a requirement that all the packaging should be white, without any production information. Although she was very curious, Lee Xia-oman did not hesitate to follow Su-wei's requirements and immediately contacted the manufacturer of cement. In less than an hour, Li Xiaoman called back to tell Su Wei that the first batch of cement would be shipped to the cargo yard in 3 days. Nice. It's good to have a secretary, and the secretary will do everything. What's more, Li Xiaoman is beautiful and capable. After chatting with his family on the sofa for a while, Su Wei got up and cooked a pack of instant noodles for himself. He added chicken legs, braised eggs, and small sausages, but the taste was still a bit unsatisfactory. Su Wei missed Xia Wei's cooking skills very much. It seemed that his appetite had been eaten up. After eating instant noodles and drinking a bottle of 82-year-old ice beer, Su Wei burped contentedly. It was more than 3 hours later. It should be about time, right? After Su Wei cleaned up the tableware, he prepared to teleport to the wasteland world. First, activate the death grip, and then fully open the force field shield to protect the back. Everything is ready, and he silently recites the teleport in his heart. With a whoosh, he landed as a man. The zombies had indeed dispersed, and the surroundings returned to the silence when he came. After Su Wei marked the coordinates on the electronic map of the smart bracelet, he left the industrial park. An all-terrain transport vehicle was released from the space, and a wooden box with a super compressor was placed on the car. At this time, Su Wei suddenly found that there were numbers on the wooden boxes, which were 1, 2, 3, and 4. Repeated arrangement. What does this mean? In doubt, Su Wei directly released 4 large wooden boxes, each with a number. After everything was ready, Su Wei climbed into the driver's seat, stepped on the accelerator, and the big car roared towards the Phaeton base. 2 hours later, Su Wei returned to the base. Inside and outside the base were survivors working. Even if they had to move the soil they had just brought in, everyone was still working hard. Just kidding, you can get food by working. Where can you find such a good thing? Not to mention moving soil, even carrying manure will be a scramble. There's even a saying that has been circulating in the base for a long time, that is, I am not afraid of being tired from work, I am afraid of having no work to do. Boss, you are awesome. In the warehouse, Liu Hongxi and others were stunned by the 4 huge wooden boxes. The boss said he was going to find a super compressor the day before yesterday, and he brought it back today. This speed, this efficiency. It's really unparalleled. Stop talking nonsense, take a quick look. Is it the model you said? Su Wei patted Lao Liu on the shoulder with a smile on his face. Yes, that's right. I've seen this super compressor at a trade fair before, Liu Hongxi said fascinatedly while looking at the 4 huge wooden boxes. That's good. Wait, are you sure this is one? Not 4. Su Wei was stunned. Yes. The super compressor consists of 4 modules, which are packaged separately. They will be assembled at the factory. Is there any problem? Liu Hongxi looked at Su Wei in surprise. Isn't this common sense? Ahem, it's nothing. You continue. By the way, when assembling, remember to take a video, a detailed one, okay, boss? I have to trouble you to transfer 2 power enhancers to help us. Liu Hongxi licked his face and asked. Without lifting equipment, he couldn't move this big guy. No problem, people will be here in a while. This warehouse will be temporarily approved for you to be a temporary factory. Try to trial produce qualified hydrogen metal as soon as possible. Su Wei left after he finished speaking. I don't know how embarrassing it would be if I stayed any longer. Professional matters should still be left to professionals. Okay, boss, I promise to complete the task, Liu Hongxi shouted at Su Wei's back with a red face. Anyway, there's ready-made liquid hydrogen in the base. As long as the super compressor is assembled, the finished product will be ready. After leaving the warehouse, Su Wei went directly to the Armed Forces Department. Before entering the door, he heard the sound of training from inside. Boss, the armed man guarding the door saluted hurriedly. This is Su Wei's second time to the Armed Forces Department. He has been here since he took over. Is Minister Yu here? Su Wei threw a pack of cigarettes out casually, and the 2 of them were so happy that their big teeth were exposed. Yes, boss, I'll take you in. A small guard immediately took Su Wei inside. Damn it, this kid got there first. Another guard couldn't help but look disappointed. Crossing the small training playground, they came to an independent office with the words Armed Forces Office hanging on it. Boss, Minister Yu is inside, the small guard said respectfully standing at the door. Okay, go get busy, Su Wei nodded. Okay, boss, by the way, what's your name? My name is Zhang Bing, a level 4 enhancer. Well, Find 2 strength enhancers, and go to the Ministry of Science and Technology to help them assemble a piece of equipment. Just say that I arranged it, okay, boss. Zhang Bing immediately ran to find someone. Can running errands for the big boss of the big base be considered a confidant? Ziona, Su Wei called out, and then pushed the door open, only to see Yuna buried her head behind the desk, tinkering with something, looking very focused. Ziona, what are you doing? Walking to the desk, Su Wei saw a glass of water on the table. He was thirsty, so he picked it up and drank it. Brother Su Wei, you're here. Yuna raised her head as she spoke. Puff cough cough. Su Wei spit out half a mouthful of salt soda, and the other half choked in his throat. Brother Su Wei, Yuna quickly got up, ran to Su Wei, and helped pat his back. Hey, Ziona, what are you doing? Are you going to fail the general exam? Haha, Su Wei couldn't help but pinching his thigh and laughed like a duck. It's not that he's unprofessional, but he really couldn't help laughing. Because Yuna's originally innocent face was painted with thick smoky makeup, maybe because of her poor skills, her eyebrows were drawn into big thick eyebrows, and her eyeshadow was drawn into panda eyes. The most exaggerated thing was the lipstick, which looked like 2 big sausages hanging on her mouth cap. Yuna, who originally had a look of expectation, felt aggrieved in her heart, and tears flowed out. Suddenly, there was a flowing black line on her panda eyes. She looked more and more like a ghost. PFFT, I'm sorry. Ziona, I'm sorry, don't cry. Su Wei wanted to laugh but didn't dare to, and had to help her wipe her tears in a hurry. He was under a lot of pressure. Chapter 38. It's done. Brother Su Wei, am I really stupid? I can't even put on makeup properly. Su Wei consoled her for a long time before Yuna stopped crying. She just looked so lost that it made people feel distressed. Come on, let's wash our faces first, okay? Yuna obediently let Su Wei wipe her face gently. Seeing a pure little face gradually revealed, Su Wei breathed a sigh of relief. Our Yuna is naturally beautiful. She doesn't need to put on makeup at all. That's just adding unnecessary details. Look, how beautiful it is like this, Su Wei said as he picked up the mirror and took a picture of Yuna. But, Yuna still couldn't be happy. Hey, what kind of cosmetics are you using? Su Wei suddenly smelled something strange and stretched his head to look under the table. Oh my. Charcoal sticks, red stone powder, white stone powder are all substitutes. No wonder it smells so bad. I know why your makeup failed. Su Wei rolled his eyes and said deliberately. What is it? The depressed Yuna was immediately attracted. What you are using is not cosmetics at all. Of course it won't work. But, Sister Song said that everyone is using these now. Don't use these anymore. It will damage your skin, you know. Wait a few days, I will bring you some real cosmetics. It's not too late to learn, what a big deal. It's just a set of cosmetics. With Su Wei's current wealth, world-famous brands are no problem. Really, when have I ever lied to you? Yeah, Brother Su Wei, you are the best. Yuna suddenly turned into a koala and fell on Su Wei's neck. Rubbing, that is the devil's temptation. Ahem, okay. It's time to talk about business. Su Wei blushed and hurriedly took off the clinging little goblin. Brother Su Wei, you say? Hearing that there was business, Yuna suddenly became serious, with a tight little face, as if she was ready to sacrifice herself at any time. Ahem, this time I went to the industrial park to look for the super compressor, and I found a zombie there. It might be a general-level alien. As he spoke, Su Wei projected the photos he took into the void through his bracelet. It's really a general-level alien, and it's a rare red-eyed elite type, much stronger than the average general-level alien, and these few are special zombies. The one with 4 feet on the ground is called a sports javelin, which is a speed-type zombie. The big one is called a land tank, which is a power-type zombie, and this one, guarding the alien, is called a long tongue. It is not only fast, but its mutant tongue is indestructible, Yuna explained with a serious face, looking at the photo. After taking over the armed department, she has been constantly learning. The more and more detailed the information you have, the more accurate judgment you can make in battle. Indestructible? Force field shields don't work either. Su Wei was stunned when he heard this. If it wasn't for it guarding the alien, he probably wouldn't have walked so easily. That's relative. The force field shield is a different kind. It's definitely impossible to break it with the strength of the long tongue. After all, its attack is a physical attack, and it's difficult to cause damage to the force field shield. It's a piece of cake for me. The real trouble is this red-eyed alien. Its body is not strong, but it can attack mentally, which makes people hard to defend against, Yuna said after magnifying the red-eyed alien. They are not very powerful separately. But when the two are combined, it will be a headache. This is really troublesome. Su-wei also had a headache after hearing it. No matter how troublesome it is, we must get rid of it. With its qualifications, it will be a nightmare for the base. Fortunately, you discovered it early. I will call a meeting to study it now. Yuna ran out. This will be the most challenging battle since she took over. Su-wei left before Yuna came back. He is not professional in collective combat, so he won't get involved. After leaving the armed department, Su-wei went to the medical department. The herbs delivered yesterday made Old Kin so excited that he didn't sleep all night. He started a crazy experiment mode and made all the 7th and 8th level strengthening potions. Fortunately, he made himself an 8th level strengthener, otherwise, at this age, his body would not be able to bear it. Strengthening is not for fighting, but for experimenting. Old Kin is the only one who can do it. As for the 9th level strengthening potion, it is temporarily impossible to make it without the spinal fluid of high-level mutant beasts. Even Zhang Jun, the former 2-star evolver, dare not easily provoke high-level mutant beasts. Now there are red-eyed elite aliens, and there is no way to hunt them for the time being. Only when Donna is free to do it. After getting the strengthening potion, Su-wei directly killed the 7th level one. After the pain, there was no reaction. However, with the experience of level 6, Su-wei was not in a hurry and waited for the potion to be absorbed by itself. After listening to Su-wei's advice, the taste of this strengthening potion is no longer unpalatable, and it is a little sweet. In fact, the key is that there are enough herbs, so there is more room for allocation. In the afternoon, when Su-wei was refueling the all-terrain transport vehicle with liquid hydrogen, Liu Hongxi ran to him with a red face. "It's done, boss, it's done." "What's done?" "The super compressor is assembled." No, it's hydrogen metal. The trial production is successful." "Really? Let's go and take a look." Su-wei was also very happy. After asking people to continue refueling, he followed Liu Hongxi to the warehouse. As soon as he entered the door, he saw a huge machine that was 3 meters high and covered an area of 10 square meters. It was the assembled super compressor. "Boss, look, this is hydrogen metal." Liu Hongxi took a small piece of light blue obelisk with metallic luster from the operating table with tweezers. "Give me a piece as a sample, and also give me a set of related technical information." Looking at the charming little particles, Su-wei felt inexplicably excited. "As you wish, boss." Liu Hongxi directly took out a hydrogen metal sample in a special box, and also a data card. After picking up the things, Su-wei teleported back to the modern era without stopping. He didn't care about anything else and went straight to the Century building. "Hello, Mr. Su." Today, Wang Na happened to be at work again. When she saw Su-wei coming out of the elevator, she immediately ran over to greet him. "Hello, is Sister Wei here?" "Yes, but Sister Wei is in a meeting now." "Okay, I'll wait for her in the office." Su-wei glanced at the time. It was almost 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the meeting was probably about to end. Wang Na took Su-wei to the office and made a cup of fragrant coffee. "Thank you, go and get busy. I'll wait here." "Okay, Mr. Su." Wang Na retreated and closed the office door before leaving. While drinking coffee, Su-wei read the information given by Liu Hongxi. The bracelet can be synchronized with a mobile phone, so he can use the mobile phone to check the contents of the bracelet. Dong dong. I don't know how long it has been, but there was a knock on the door. "Come in." Su-wei looked up and saw Wang Na walking in with a box. "Boss Su, CEO Xia and the others are still in a meeting. I saw it was getting late, so I ordered you a dinner. I hope you like it," Wang Na said as she placed a box in her hand on the coffee table in front of Su-wei, along with a cup of warm milk tea. "Hey, it's so late. Haven't you gotten off work yet?" Su-wei looked at the time, and it was actually more than 2 hours later. He was so engrossed in reading the information that he didn't know how he got here. "My shift is wherever the CEOs are." Wang Na smiled slightly, looking dignified and beautiful. "You're so thoughtful. It's a blessing for the company to have an employee like you." Su-wei couldn't help but praise her. "Thank you, Boss Su, for the compliment. It's my honor to be able to join Ziwei Group," Wang Na said modestly. Ziahu. As the two were chatting, Xiaowei, dressed in a black business suit, pushed the door and walked in. She was wearing black stockings and high heels, and she was sexy and charming, but her face, as if painted, was filled with an unconcealable fatigue. Mr. Su, President Xia, please chat, Wang Na said as she left the office, closing the door behind her. Chapter 39 Declaration of War. Sister Wei, have you eaten? Yes, I ate in the conference room. When I came out to the bathroom, I heard you were here, so I came to see you. Xia Wei brushed her soft long hair with her hand, sat down next to Su Wei, and reached out to help him open the lunchbox. Here, Xia Wei picked up a piece of pork ribs with chopsticks and held it in front of Su Wei. Sister Wei, I'll do it myself. Su Wei couldn't help blushing, and hurriedly reached out to take the chopsticks and lunchbox. Puchy, stinky brother, why are you still shy in front of me? After teasing Su Wei, Xia Wei seemed to be in a better mood. By the way, didn't you say you were going out for a few days? Why are you back today? Xia Wei asked curiously. Things went smoothly, so I came back early. By the way, Sister Wei, is the company encountering any difficulties? Su Wei remembered the sad face of Xia Wei when she came in, and couldn't help asking first. Hey, Xiaohu. I'm sorry, I'm afraid the company will lose a lot of money this time. Hearing Su Wei's question, Xia Wei immediately took off all her disguises. Then, Xia Wei briefly recounted the course of events. In Huidu City, the electronics company under Ziwei Group produces mobile phone batteries, while Guo Group produces electric car batteries. The two were originally unrelated. But now, Guo Group suddenly announced that it had added mobile phone battery products, and privately poached many people from Ziwei Group's electronics company, and took away a large number of customers. Ziwei Group is naturally not afraid of pure business competition, but there must be the shadow of the Luan family behind it, and the problem is not so simple. Its purpose is definitely to squeeze out Ziwei Group's electronics company. This may be just the beginning, and the next will be real estate, automobile, tourism and other companies. Therefore, Xia Wei convened the backbone of the company to study how to deal with the Guo Group's attack and guard against the opponent's backup. Guo family? Humph, I haven't caused you any trouble, and you jump out again, so don't blame me. Su Wei, who was gnawing on a piece of ribs, heard the Guo family and couldn't help but bite it hard. Crack, the bones were broken, and it was crisp. Seeing Su Wei's good teeth, Xia Wei was shocked. Sister Wei, if the enemy comes, we will fight him. If the water comes, we will block it with earth. Since Guo wants to fight us, let's fight. Su Wei threw down the chopsticks in his hand and said domineeringly. Huh? What kind of battle method? Guo combined many customers with batteries, and we are at an extreme disadvantage. Xia Wei's head hurt when she heard it. This is not a problem that can be solved by money alone. Although the old man of the Xia family is better now, the dragon has been sleeping for too long and it will take some time to wake up. Therefore, in many places, the Luan family still occupies the home court. In this case, no matter how much Ziwei Group invests, it will be eaten up completely. Since they want to snatch Ziwei's current market, then we will give it to them. We will switch to new energy batteries, cut off the firewood from the bottom of the pot, and defeat Guo in one fell swoop, once and for all. Su Wei snapped his fingers and said easily. Xia Wei just wanted to cry after hearing this. Are all college students so idealistic? Let's not talk about the production problem first. Where does the new energy battery technology come from? Do we have to pay a high franchise fee to introduce it? In that case, even if it is produced, the price is not competitive. How can this defeat Guo? Sister Wei, don't worry. How dare you take on porcelain work without a diamond drill? I just happen to have a new energy battery technology in my hand. Once it comes out, it will lead the innovation of science and technology. Not to mention Guo, even international giants will have to lie down obediently. As he said, Su Wei naturally exuded a sense of superiority, which shocked Xia Wei on the side. Isn't he in finance? Why is he involved in science and technology again? Sister Wei, Xiaohu, are you serious? Really? 100% true. Okay, then I will call a meeting of the backbone of the electronics company now. As he said, Xia Wei pulled Su Wei up and walked towards the meeting room. She trusted Su Wei 100%. Soon, they arrived at the company's large conference room. After pushing the door open, they saw more than a dozen people sitting inside, both men and women, but all of them looked sad and depressed. When they heard the door open, they turned their heads and looked over. They were immediately surprised and curious. President Xia actually came in hand with a young and handsome man. Could it be President Xia's boyfriend? But this company is having a meeting. Why did he bring him here? Is he showing off his love? Everyone, this is the company's new chairman, Mr. Sui. We just happened to meet today, so let's meet each other and get to know each other. Xia Wei's words shocked everyone. I heard before that Zui Group was wholly acquired by someone, but the mysterious chairman has never appeared in public. It's the first time he appeared in front of so many subordinates today. I didn't expect him to be so young. Could he be a young generation from a family in Beijing? Hello, everyone. Since I am still in college, the company's affairs are mainly handled by General Manager Xia. Here, I would like to thank everyone for their dedication and hard work for the company. Please believe that the company will definitely overcome the difficulties and achieve better results. Su Wei's simple speech surprised everyone. He was still in college. Isn't this just a joke? Okay, regarding the issue of the electronics company, the company now has a new arrangement. Except for the relevant personnel who stay, everyone else should go back first. Xia Wei made a vigorous arrangement. Soon, there were only 4 or 5 people left in the conference room, all of whom were the backbone of the group's electronics company. This is Fang Huan, the general manager of the electronics company. After everyone sat down again, Xia Wei pointed to a middle-aged man in a suit and tie and introduced him. The latter nodded politely to Su Wei, with a gentleman's smile on his face. These two are the heads of the research department of the electronics company, Zhang Shenqiang and Fan Yuan. The remaining one is Wang Jian, the head of the production department. Xia Wei introduced the people one by one. Zhang Shenqiang and Fan Yuan from the research department are both very young, only in their 30s, wearing thick glasses and exuding a strong bookish air. Wang Jian is the oldest among them, in his 50s, with gray hair and weathered face, telling of a complicated life. Chapter 40, Cutting the Gordian Knot. Everyone, I won't say any more nonsense. When I came here, Sister Wei has already explained the situation of the electronics company. I believe you know the current situation better than me. Therefore, the group has decided to abandon the existing products of the electronics company. When the people present heard this, they were helpless. Doesn't this mean that they will be unemployed? Cough. Everyone's expression naturally fell into Su Wei's eyes. He had to stop and cough to focus everyone's scattered attention. Giving up existing products does not mean giving up the electronics company. The group has decided to enter the battery field and go to war with the Guo group. Su Wei's words were like a stick on the head, making several people's heads buzz. Although the company's research department has also explored new energy battery technology, the cost of scientific research is too high, and it has always been difficult. Is it to use the current to mature products to fight against Guo? Isn't that a pebble hitting a stone? When several people heard such a decision, they felt sadder than hearing that the company went bankrupt directly, because this was destined to be a war that could not be won. What's the point of paying for it? Zui Group does not make half-baked products. We make the best products. I have a new energy battery technology called hydrogen battery. The cost is less than 1/10 of the current lithium battery, but the battery life is more than 10 times that of lithium battery. Su Wei directly connected his mobile phone to the projector and projected the technical information on the big screen. New energy. Several people immediately became interested. These days, everything related to new energy is hot. Zhang Shenqiang and Fan Yuan were even more excited. Could it be that hydrogen fuel cells have a technical breakthrough? But the more they looked at it, the darker their faces became. In the end, they were directly angry. Mr. Su, if you want to fire us, just say so. Why make such a big joke? The existence of hydrogen metal is still in the verification stage. How can it be used to make hydrogen batteries? Zhang Shenqiang was angry and felt that he was being played. Hydrogen metal, although the others were not professionals, they had heard about it and their expressions suddenly became interesting. Even Xia Wei had the urge to cover her face. Could it be that Su Wei had read too many novels? You may not understand. This is not a scientific research document, but a production document. In other words, there is already a finished product. What you need to do is to copy the technology and build a new production line. Su Wei looked at Zhang Shenqiang without anger and said, "This is impossible." Not only Zhang Shenqiang, but even Fan Yuan beside him exclaimed, "This is a hydrogen metal sample, this is a finished hydrogen battery, and there is also technical information." Without saying a word, Su Wei reached into his pocket and took out samples, batteries, and data cards from the space, and placed them one by one on the table in front of him. The sound of each item falling was like a heavy hammer hitting the hearts of several people. Especially Zhang Shenqiang and Fan Yuanun. They knew very well that if this was true, it would be enough to shock the world. Although they were not the creators, they were proud of their participation for a lifetime. For a while, the conference room was silent. Take these three things back and digest and absorb them well, and try to copy the production line as soon as possible. Su Wei pushed the things in front of him to Zhang Shenqiang and Fan Yuanun. This move made Xia Wei look nervous, but she didn't stop him in the end. Boss Su, do you trust us so much? Zhang Shenqiang asked with a dry mouth. This is mature means of production, the kind that can be produced as soon as it is obtained. Isn't he afraid that he will take it away? I dare to take it out today, so there is no reason to be afraid. Besides, is the company's confidentiality agreement vegetarian, or do you have no confidence in yourself? Su Wei asked back. Yes, Boss Su, Zhang Shenqiang, guarantee it with my life. Zhang Shenqiang's eyes were red. This is a free achievement. At this moment, even if he died, he would not leave Ziwei Group. Fan Yuanun on the side also showed the same expression. Boss Su, we will go back to the laboratory to work overtime. With that, Zhang Shenqiang and Fan Yuanun ran away with the samples and materials, as if they were injected with chicken blood. Manager Fang, please organize the company's sales staff to train relevant knowledge. The information is in the data card. You can just ask Zhang Shenqiang directly. Su Wei continued to make arrangements, and this place instantly became Su Wei's home court. Okay, Mr. Su, Feng Huan's eyes flashed with a strange color, but it disappeared quickly, and he answered respectfully. Director Wang, package and sell the current production equipment. The price doesn't matter, but the speed must be fast to make room for the new equipment. Yes, Mr. Su, Wang Jian answered enthusiastically. Having been in this industry, he has some understanding. If it is true as Su Wei said, the cost is less than 1/10, but the effect is more than 10 times stronger, then once this hydrogen battery comes out, it will be enough to cause a sensation. By then, the electronics company will become the most influential subsidiary of Ziwei, and their value will naturally rise. Are there any other questions? After making the arrangements, Su Wei asked directly. No more. Feng Huan and Wang Jian nodded in unison. If there is no more, then adjourn the meeting, Su Wei announced directly. Feng Huan and Wang Jian hurriedly got up and left. With a direction, there were a lot of things waiting for them to complete. Only Su Wei and Xia Wei were left in the meeting room. Sister Wei, you won't blame me for interfering, will you? Su Wei looked at Xia Wei's unusual expression and couldn't help but joked. How could that be? The group is yours, you can arrange it however you want. But, Xia Wei rolled her eyes at Su Wei, as if she wanted to say something but stopped. But what? Zhao Wei, Grandpa is still in the observation period, and he has been silent for too long, and many relationships are a bit distant, so it will take some time for the Xia family to revive. At this time, Ziwei Group is still in a weak position, and I can't guarantee that no one will have second thoughts. Xia Wei tactfully expressed her concerns. If someone leaked the technical information of the hydrogen battery, all the efforts made by Su Wei would be in vain. I said, Sister Wei, why are you unhappy? So you are worried about this. In fact, there is nothing to worry about. The technology of hydrogen batteries is actually not difficult at all. The difficulty lies in how to obtain stable hydrogen metal, which is the key. Now even if I make the technical information public, no one can make it. Su Wei proudly kept it a secret. Why? Xia Wei cooperated very well and turned into a curious baby. Because they don't have the core equipment. Just like chips, knowing the process alone, without a lithography machine, you can't produce chips. Su Wei looked calm. You mean, special equipment is needed to make hydrogen metal, Hayaka? You got it right, but unfortunately there is no reward. The core equipment for making hydrogen metal is a supercompressor. It can be said that no one in the world can make it except the team I control. So, there is no need to worry about technology leaks. Then I'm relieved. Xia Wei's worried heart finally fell back into her stomach. Sister Wei, let's go. I'll treat you to a big meal. Su Wei looked out the window. It was already dark, and she didn't eat enough at all from the work meal just now. What? Don't you want to eat what your sister made? After letting go of her worries, Xia Wei felt relaxed immediately. She licked the corner of her mouth with her clove tongue and said seductively in Su Wei's ear. Don't you see you're tired? Stinky brother. Chapter 41 Guo Orluzi. The next morning, Su Wei was still asleep when Xia Wei forcibly pulled him up and rushed to the electronics company without stopping. The reason was simple. The electronics company had news that the hydrogen battery sample test items had all passed, and the performance was even better than Su Wei said. Once such a product is put on the market, it will definitely beat all types of products in seconds and lead the world for at least decades. How could Xia Wei sleep with such good news? It was not until she saw the test data in the laboratory that she cheered and jumped for joy as if her dream had come true. Looking at Zhang Shenqiang and Fan Yuanyun again, they were scary enough. Their eyes were red because of staying up late or excitement, and they had two big dark circles under their eyes. Their hair was messy like a chicken cooperative. Those who knew that the two had been doing tests all night, and those who didn't know thought that the two had gone into the woods. Compared with the excitement of several people, Su Wei was calm. This was just repeated data for him, and he was no longer surprised. With accurate data, the next thing would be much easier. According to the data, the production process would be formulated, and then a new production line would be designed according to the production process. Zhang Shenqiang and Fan Yuanyun had to ask Su Wei for instructions for almost every step they took. Now their admiration for Su Wei was like a surging wave, endless. Boss Su, President Xia. Just as they were discussing the scale of production, Wang Jian walked in with a hint of anger on his face. Director Wang, what's going on? Su Wei and Xia Wei looked at each other and asked Wang Jian. Boss Su, President Xia, the Guo group is really bullying us too much? Not only did they lower the price themselves, but they also didn't allow others to bid. It was simply a forced sale. As soon as Wang Jian talked about it, he was full of anger. It turned out that he had announced the news of the sale of the production line in the early morning according to Su Wei's request. Unexpectedly, the first one to come to negotiate was the Guo group, and the bid was only 20 million. That's a production line worth 200 million. It was directly reduced by 10 times. Isn't this bullying? Wang Jian turned hostile on the spot, but the other party was not angry, but left with a smile. After Guo's people left, Wang Jian contacted several friends in the circle for help, but without exception, they all said they were busy. Finally, a good friend told him that Guo had already made arrangements in advance and no one would take over. Now Guo has the Luan family behind it, and no one dares to offend. This means that apart from selling it to Guo at a low price, it can only be recycled as scrap. Even no one dares to collect it as scrap. 20 million, it's not a small amount. Old Wang, didn't I say that the price doesn't matter, the key is to be fast? Su Wei looked at Wang Jian with a look of disappointment. If there was no place to throw it, he would not bother to spend this effort. From Director Wang to Old Wang, Wang Jian's heart skipped a beat. This was a direct expression of the big boss's dissatisfaction with him. I'll contact Guo immediately. Wang Jian ran out to make a phone call. Less than 3 minutes later, Wang Jian ran back with a sad face. What's the matter again, Old Wang? Ahem. Mr. Su. Guo specifically asked you to sign the contract before he would take over. Wang Jian was so angry. Guo was too bullying. But the big boss asked him to get rid of it as soon as possible. He was in a dilemma. I'll give you 20 million for a signature. Okay. When did my signature become so valuable? Haha, Su Wei told a cold joke, but it was not funny at all. The expressions of several people were uglier than crying. That's a production line worth 200 million. You sold it at a low price of 20 million. You still have the nerve? Prodigal son. Ahem, okay, tell Guo that I agreed and let them hurry up. Yes. Wang Jian was so moved that he was about to cry. This big boss was too easy to talk to. After calling, Guo's people came over in less than an hour. How impatient were they? Guo Minglian, in the signing team, Su Wei saw an unexpected figure. Haha, Su Wei, I didn't expect you to have this day. I'm not afraid to tell you, this is just the beginning. From now on, I will take over every company you sell, until you go bankrupt. Guo Minglian looked at Su Wei and said with high spirits. Aren't you awesome? Aren't you the chairman of Ziwei Group? You are still being trampled under my feet. Haha, welcome to send me money, Mr. Guo, I'm really grateful. Su Wei smiled and took the initiative to hold Guo Minglian's hand, looking really grateful. Humph. When hydrogen batteries are on the market, these are equivalent to garbage. A pile of garbage was sold for 20 million. I am really a genius. Oh, Guo Minglian was stunned. He sold everything he had. Why was he so happy? This kid couldn't be mad. Guo Minglian was so scared that he hurriedly distanced himself from Su Wei, fearing that Su Wei would go crazy and beat him up again. Who would he go to for justice? Ahem, let's get started quickly, Su Wei couldn't help but urge. Wait, Guo Minglian snapped his fingers, and several people carrying camera equipment came forward immediately, set up the camera, turned on the video, and faced the signing scene. Wang Jian was so angry that he almost smashed the camera. This was going to be a big publicity. Xiaowei's face was not good, but Su Wei didn't say anything, so she just stood there without moving. Old Wang, don't worry about them, business is important. Yes, Mr. Su, the contract was drawn up in advance, and it was just a matter of signing. The signing ceremony was completed quickly. Su Wei also took Guo Minglian to take a group photo in front of the media. It made Guo Minglian nervous. This was not acting according to the script at all. Faced with Su Wei's sudden enthusiasm, Guo Minglian didn't dare to stay any longer, and left with a group of people in disgrace, without any of the cuckold spirit he had when he first came. In such a situation, he was able to turn the passive into the active and turn hostility into friendship. He is really a master. At this moment, Wang Jian admired Su Wei very much. If Su Wei knew that he had accidentally conquered an old employee, who knows how he would feel. In fact, he just wanted to cheat Guo Minglian one more time, which would make him very happy. Old Wang, use this money to pay benefits to the company's employees. Su Wei stuffed the 20 million check from his opponent into Wang Jian's hand without even looking at it. Wang Jian just stayed where he was. There were less than 200 people in the company, including the sweepers. 100,000 per person? Mr. Xia, Wang Jian looked at Xiaowei again. Is this young man reliable? It was given by Mr. Su, so just do it. It just so happens that there are no production tasks now, so we can organize some team-building activities for the employees to enhance cohesion. Xiaowei knew that Su Wei was not short of money, so naturally she had no intention of stopping him. Well, okay then. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42, Great Strength Makes Miracles Come True. Dad, I'm back. After Guo Minglian returned to the headquarters of Guo Group, he went straight to the chairman's office. There were two people sitting in the office. One was a Mediterranean man in his 40s or 50s, and the other was a young man in his 30s, wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, and his eyebrows and eyes looked a bit like Guo Minglian. These two people were Guo Juke, the chairman of Guo Group, and his eldest son Guo Mingguang. Hey, big brother, you are here too, Guo Minglian said and greeted Guo Mingguang. Is it done? Guo Juke took a sip of hot tea and asked Guo Minglian who came in. Everything is settled. Someone will be sent to receive it in the afternoon. Guo Minglian sat down and put the signed contract next to his father. Did you encounter any resistance? Guo Juke glanced at the contract, but did not mean to open it. No. They are desperate. What else can they do? If they don't sell it to us, they will just wait for it to rot on their hands. Guo Minglian couldn't help but feel a chill on his back when he thought of Su Wei's inexplicable enthusiasm, but he still didn't say it, always feeling that it was very embarrassing. Well, it seems that the Xia family is really in trouble. Then, we have a lot to do next, Guo Juke smiled. In the past, in Huidu City, the Guo family was the only one, but the sudden arrival of Ziwei Group took away half of the sky. Now with the support of the Luan family, Guo Juke plans to drive Ziwei out of Huidu City. Dad, I also invited the media to film the signing process. Tomorrow's headlines will definitely be about Ziwei Group Electronics Company. Guo Minglian then took credit. Well, not bad, Minglian has grown up too. This is very good. When you graduate and come to the company, let your brother take care of you, and you can also share some of my work. Thank you, Dad. Guo Minglian was surprised. Although he is only the second child, he is also an ambitious second child, okay? Dad, I think Ziwei's things are too smooth this time. Is there any hidden reason? Guo Mingguang on the side had a calm face, and he could not see any worries or joys. Well? Mingguang, did you find something? Guo Zhuke immediately showed a thoughtful expression, obviously attaching great importance to his eldest son's opinion. I don't know about this yet, but I still think it's better to be careful. Guo Mingguang shook his head and said, Brother, forget it. In terms of funds, Zhuai is not as good as her Guo family. In terms of connections, the Xia family is now suppressed by the Luan family. What chance do they have to turn the tables? Guo Minglian was immediately unhappy. This elder brother just couldn't stand him doing well. Minglian, Zhuai Group is the fruit of the Xia family in Beijing. Our strengths are far apart. If you want to get rich overnight, it will be very risky. Okay, brother, I know. By the way, I have an appointment with my friends to ride horses in the afternoon, so I'm leaving first, Guo Minglian said and got up and left. Mingguang, you help Minglian keep an eye on this matter, and tell me immediately if there is anything unusual. Guo Zhuke knew the risk in his heart, but the fruit was too tempting, and people would always take risks. Got it, Dad. The next day, as expected, the news that Zhuai Group sold the production line of the electronics company made the headlines of Huatou City and even appeared in the industry headlines. Overwhelming comments rolled in. This era is the era of traffic. Once there is a little disturbance, it will cause a huge network shock, not to mention the Zhuai Group, which is one of the best in Huatou City. For a time, there were countless negative comments. Under the guidance of those who are interested, Zhuai Group was said to be in danger and on the verge of bankruptcy. This led to panic among the employees of Zhuai Group, especially the electronics company, where a wave of resignations was inevitable. Although the company has launched the new energy battery project and promised to double the salary as long as they stay, many people still choose to leave. The production line has been sold. What's the point of doing it? No matter how high the salary is promised, it's all empty. The workers are more concerned about what they actually get in their hands, which is their hope. In this regard, Wang Jian was so anxious that his hair turned white again, but Su Wei didn't care at all. If people leave, just recruit them again. If 1 times the salary doesn't work, then double it. If 2 times doesn't work, then triple it. Anyway, the cost of hydrogen batteries is so low that it's not a loss, even if the salary is 10 times. Even so, in order to stabilize people's hearts, Xia Wei still pulled Su Wei to sit in the electronics company during this period, at least to stabilize the top management and not have too much fluctuation. As for those who want to resign, Xia Wei also supports Su Wei, and all are approved, and they are processed and resigned on the same day. The company will soon launch a hydrogen battery project, and those who voluntarily stay are more reliable. 3 days. It only took 3 days for the electronics company to complete the formulation of a new production process and the design of a new production line. With fewer people, the efficiency is higher. In addition to the high bonus, the most important thing is to work together to achieve results. However, when purchasing equipment, Wang Jian encountered a problem again. What is a supercompressor? The industry can't achieve such high precision and pressure. There is no way. Lao Wen can only run to Su Wei with a thick skin. Su Wei directly gave a size and asked him to reserve it when the production line was constructed. When the production line is completed, he will naturally transport the supercompressor. Anyway, they are all highly intelligent modular designs, and they can be used after assembly. There is no such thing as debugging. With Su Wei's guarantee, Wang Jian felt more at ease and threw himself into the workshop, striving to complete the construction of the new production line as soon as possible. At the same time, Lechao Electronics Company, Limited, a newly established subsidiary of Guo Group, was also working overtime. They installed the equipment dismantled from Zhuai Electronics Company in the production workshop in its original form, and even did not need to adjust the parameters to produce directly. However, Guo Mingguang still applied for the group and made some upgrades to the production line to improve production efficiency and product quality. In any case, it is also to become the existence of abolishing Zhuai. If it is the original model, it will be too despised. After staying in the electronics company for 3 days, Su Wei said that he would not go there at all. Not only was it boring, but he was also treated as a giant panda. He was surrounded by people wherever he went, which made him very uncomfortable. In this regard, Xia Wei had no choice but to let him go free and stick to the electronics company alone. Su Wei, who regained his freedom, was not idle either, and began to sell cement in the wasteland world. There is no other way. The transport truck can only carry about 10 tons at a time. Lee Xiaoman ordered 1,000 tons in the first batch, and it took 3 or 4 days to transport it. It seems that we need to get a bigger transport truck, at least one that can carry 100 tons. With cement, the Phaeton base has officially entered the era of infrastructure mania. It doesn't matter if there is no machinery, we have strengthening potions. Not to mention the high-level ones, the strengthening potions of levels 1 to 3 are already popular. After 3 bottles, you can make a human crane. Great power. Great power works miracles. The Phaeton base has been the same for almost half a day. But there is also bad news. Yuna took people to the industrial park, but the red-eyed downgraded alien had already left, and no one knew where it went. This is like a time bomb installed in the base, which may explode at any time. But there is no other way. In the wasteland world, finding an alien is like looking for a needle in a haystack. As long as it drills into the ruins of the city, no one can do anything. Chapter 43, Atavism Tyrannosaurus Power. Ziona, here, these are genuine cosmetics. In the hall, Sue took out a bunch of bottles and jars. There were big and small, short and tall, fat and thin. All the labels were removed, and the words foundation, cream, water, and blush were written on them with a marker. It looked a bit tacky. These were the brand name cosmetics that Lee Xiaoman took him to buy, and Sue didn't know anything about them. By the way, he also gave Lee Xiaoman a set, which immediately touched the little woman beyond words, and felt that the busy days were worth it. However, Sue then brought a set for Xiaowei and He Shuang, which made Lee Xiaoman sigh in her heart. Wow! So many. How do I use them? Yuna stared at Sue with a pair of cute and silly big eyes, with a look of anticipation. I'll watch the video. Sue quickly uploaded the downloaded makeup video to Yuna's smart bracelet. Fortunately, my brother is smart. Wow, Yuna suddenly discovered a new world. Watching those videos, she couldn't stop at all. Oh, by the way, brother Sue, this is a level 9 strengthening potion. Qin Laoran gave it to you. After watching the video for a while, Yuna remembered and quickly took out a dark golden potion from her small bag and handed it to Sue. Level 9? When did you go to hunt high-level mutant beasts? Sue took the potion with a lingering fragrance and asked curiously. I didn't get anything last time when I went to the industrial park. On the way back, I encountered 2 high-level mutant beasts fighting for territory. Naturally, we were the ones who benefited, brother Sue, do you know? One of them is an extremely rare atavistic Tyrannosaurus Rex cub. If this guy grows up, he will definitely be a terrifying existence of SSS+. The level 9 strengthening potion in your hand is made with its spinal fluid. The other one is a steel rock python. Although it is an adult high-level beast, it is far inferior to it, Yuna said with a proud face. A blessing in disguise. Is there a difference between strong and weak levels of this level 9 strengthening potion? Sue asked curiously. Of course, levels 1 to 8 can only be regarded as the basis. Because level 9 strengthening is not the end, but a new starting point, an opportunity to start the road of evolution or awakening. There is only 1 in a million who evolves and awakens simply by relying on their own talents. Therefore, most of the evolvers and awakeners come from level 9 strengtheners, Yuna carefully explained to Sue. I see, Sue nodded after learning. So the materials of the 9th level strengthening potion determine the probability of evolution and awakening. The wasteland world is really full of miracles. Brother Sue, have you absorbed the 8th level strengthening potion? Yuna also looked expectant. I just absorbed it yesterday. Sue did not forget to strengthen the cement when he was dealing with cement these days. After absorbing the 7th level strengthening potion, he also made the 8th level strengthening potion. It was just absorbed yesterday, and the power increased to a terrifying 22 times. Then you should try it. Maybe there will be a surprise, Yuna couldn't help but say. Okay, Sue nodded and swallowed the dark golden potion in his hand. It tasted spicy, as if there was a ball of fire in his mouth, which made Sue almost spit it out, but thinking of the preciousness of the potion, Sue swallowed it into his stomach. Huh? Sue felt like he was burning, and his skin was flushed red. With a bang, Sue fell straight to the ground, lying flat on his back. Ah! Brother Sue, what happened to you? Yuna was startled. She woke up naturally and didn't know if this was normal. Ahem, Sue's body was stiff, and even his tongue was swollen. He felt as if his whole body was torn apart, But his damn consciousness could not pass out, and he took in all the pain. What was even more terrible was that the moment Yuna pounced on him, she brought a faint fragrance, like a catalyst, making him suffer even more. Sister song, sister song. Suwei's extremely painful expression made Yuna panic and shouted hurriedly. Minister Yu, what happened? Songdan rushed in from outside the door and was stunned by the scene in front of him. Quick, go and ask Mr. Qin to come over, Yuna almost cried and shouted. Okay, okay. Songdan turned around and rushed out immediately. Soon, Qin Hong was called by Songdan. He was also shocked when he saw Suwei's condition. He learned that it was because of the 9th level strengthening potion that he became like this. Qin Hong's head was immediately overwhelmed. This is so unscientific. Why did this kid's reaction look like he had taken a super invincible 10-in-1 tonic pill? Old Qin, what happened to brother Suwei? Yuna asked with tears in her eyes. Boss, his current situation is very special. It seems that he is too weak to be supplemented. This 9th level strengthening potion has brought him huge energy, but his body can't bear it. If it is not released in time, he may explode and die. How can we save him? Yuna was confused, but there was only one thought in her mind, that is, to save Suwei at all costs. Qin Hong's old face couldn't help but blush. Facing the young girl with a blank sheet of paper, how could he say it? He hurriedly looked at Songdan for help. Old Qin, I know. Songdan was an experienced person. As soon as he heard the cause of the disease analyzed by Qin Hong, he knew what was going on. But despite this, her face was still red. Hey, you guys, come on and say something. Why are you blushing? Yuna was so anxious that she couldn't help but yell at the two of them. Hey, Mr. Qin, let me talk to Minister Yu. You please step aside first. Okay, Qin Hong said and ran away. Sister Song Ziona, do you really want to save the boss? Yes. How to save him? Songdan blushed and whispered in Yuna's ear. Yuna's little face instantly became red to the ears. Greek letter Omega. The long night, the night after night is long. Suwei felt like he had a long dream. At first, it was like being trapped in a cold hell and suffering 18 kinds of torture, but as a warm meteor fell into hell, the whole world turned into warm color, and with it came an angel, the angel who saved Suwei's soul. Suwei tried hard to see the angel's face clearly, and it turned out to be Yuna. So, he woke up from the dream. A familiar fragrance filled his nose, making Suwei open his eyes all of a sudden. Oh my! This is not a dream. Seeing Yuna lying beside him like a little bird, Suwei was so shocked that he almost jumped up. Don't move. Let me sleep a little longer, I'm so tired. Yuna's low and hoarse voice was full of fatigue. Suwei naturally didn't dare to move again, and raised his hand gently behind him. Huh? Boss, don't make trouble. I went, and my hand was soft. At the same time, a dreamy voice sounded behind him. Songdan. The lost fragments immediately returned to his brain. Oh my, this thing is a mess. Although it was a little beyond his expectations, Suwei is not the kind of ruthless person. Since it has happened, cherish it well. The wasteland world, the bond with you is getting deeper and deeper. Chapter 44, Unparalleled Physique. It was already past noon, but Yuna and Songdan were still sleeping soundly. This was a tough situation for the hot-blooded Suwei, who could only leave carefully, otherwise he would turn into a Tyrannosaurus again. After leaving the headquarters, Suwei went straight to the medical department. Mr. Qin, Suwei found Qin Hong in the laboratory, and his face couldn't help but get hot when he thought of what happened last night. Come on. Let's go, I'll check your body. Qin Hong, however, acted as if nothing had happened, and took Suwei to another laboratory naturally. He used a bunch of strange instruments to check Suwei, and drew a tube of his blood for analysis. After a while, Mr. Qin was staring at a pile of data in a daze. Mr. Qin. What's going on? Even Suwei was a little nervous. Hey. Boss, your physique is very special. It seems that you are allergic to that level 9 strengthening potion. After waiting for a long time, Qin Hong finally managed to say this. All the data were very good, and ridiculously good. Who knows what happened to Suwei last night? As for whether it was a problem with the medicine, Qin Hong didn't even consider the possibility of its existence. You can question my character, my moral integrity, and even my gender. But you must not question my professionalism. Because we are professionals. What? Allergy? There won't be any sequelae, right? Su Wei was confused. Sequelae? No, there is no such thing. You are simply perfect now. Qin Lao's eyes suddenly looked like he was looking at a peerless beauty, looking at Su Wei, frightening her so much that she broke out in a cold sweat. Perfect, Su Wei said he didn't understand. Under the influence of the powerful medicine, you not only broke through the shackles of human genes, but also started evolution and awakening at the same time. What's even more amazing is that your evolved ability is power, and your awakened talent is also power. With a double superposition, your strength is immeasurable. This is definitely an unparalleled physique. Qin Lao became more and more excited as he spoke. Although the environment of the wasteland world has greatly tempered the survivor's physique, the probability of evolving superpowers is only 1 in 10,000, and the probability of awakening talents is 1 in a billion. If both are turned on, it is 1 in a billion. For the same attribute, it is infinitely close to 0. That's why Qin Hong called it a peerless physique. After getting the authoritative certification, Su Wei's heart was finally put back in his stomach. Before leaving, he went to see the body of the tragic atavistic Tyrannosaurus cub. Oh my. A big guy with a weight of nearly 100 tons and a height of 3 stories when standing up. It's just a cub. How big would it be if it grew up? Godzilla. God knows what species it mutated from. It looks like an ancient Tyrannosaurus, with a pair of huge horns on its head and 2 tumor-like protrusions on the left and right sides of its back, which are said to be able to grow wings. After leaving the storage warehouse, Su Wei went to the training ground of the armed forces. He used a lot of power to test the stone bricks, and soon, the ground was covered with broken bricks, which made others stunned. Oh my god, is this a humanoid pile driver? How can stone bricks be free? Shut up. He is the boss, the biggest boss in the base. The whole base belongs to him. So what's wrong with breaking a few bricks? Degree, cap. Soon, Su Wei adapted to the new power. It was really a qualitative leap, as Qin Hong said. This is only the level of 1 star in 1 level. I can't imagine how high it will reach in the future. Although it is just a relatively common power attribute, great power is good. Great power can create miracles. Haven't you heard that 1 force can defeat 10 skills? This power combined with the fierce Bajiquin, the scene is unimaginable. Thinking of this, Su Wei couldn't help but practice Bajiquin. The power is in the heels, the movement is in the waist, the fingertips are penetrated, the inch is intercepted and the inch is grasped, and the hard fight is hard. Later, every punch Su Wei threw was accompanied by the sound of thunder, with the momentum of 1 punch knocking down the sky, 1 stomping foot shaking the 9 states. The armed personnel who came to watch were amazed. I thought Minister Yu's fire talent was abnormal enough, but I didn't expect the boss's power talent to be so good. Big opening and closing, it seems to be more powerful than Minister Yu. With food and strength, such a base is worth relying on. If there is a system, Su Wei will definitely see the loyalty of the armed members rising sharply at this moment. Greek letter sigma, A. Loyalty or not is not important, Su Wei knows that he is having a great time. This is the most satisfying boxing experience in history, and he feels like he can punch hundreds of times in 1 breath. After sweating profusely in the training ground and getting a lot of knee strikes, Su Wei returned to the headquarters with satisfaction. Walking into the hall, Yuna and Songdan were eating breakfast, or maybe both. Boss, seeing Su Wei come in, Songdan stood up quickly with a red face. Yuna looked up at Su Wei, and then buried her head in her chest like a shy little wife. Well, sit down. We're all family from now on. Su Wei took Songdan's hand and sat down. The latter was so moved that tears came out of her eyes when she heard the words. Ziona, up, does it still hurt? No, it doesn't hurt much. Yuna wished she could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Brother, is it okay for you to ask a girl so bluntly? By the way, you wait. Su Wei hurried into the bedroom, took out a bunch of fresh ingredients from the space, and a set of outdoor cooking utensils, and started to work. Soon, 6 dishes, a soup and a big pot of fragrant rice were ready. With the enhanced physique and Xiaowei's influence, Su Wei's cooking skills are naturally needless to say, and it is not an exaggeration to say that it is so delicious that it is enough to bite your tongue. Looking at the table of hot dishes and hot rice, Yuna and Songdan were extremely surprised. Cooking skills are secondary. The key is these fresh ingredients. The taste is absolutely pure. This has never been seen since the catastrophe. Where did Su Wei get so many non-mutated ingredients? Is he a god? Could it be that Songdan seemed to guess a possibility, but she quickly buried it in her heart? Relatively simple. Yuna didn't think so much. Anyway, she was absolutely convinced of everything Su Wei said. This meal was eaten happily. As an ordinary person, Songdan ate 3 bowls of rice. Most of the rest went into Yuna's stomach. After awakening, her appetite also awakened. Eaters souls, eaters have to use basins to eat. After eating, before they could clean up, the 2 women fell asleep again due to exhaustion. Su Wei smiled bitterly and shook his head, gently carried the 2 back to bed, and then teleported back to the modern world. I was sweating all over in the morning, which was very uncomfortable. In order to remove toxins and radiation pollution, the water in the wasteland world has a medicinal smell, so Su Wei had to run back to the modern world to take a shower. It seems that the upgrade of the base's water supply equipment is imperative. Chapter 45, Landlord. After taking a comfortable hot bath, Su Wei hurried out again. Originally, he wanted to call Li Xiaoman to go with him to buy another set of cosmetics, but unfortunately, Li Xiaoman was temporarily unable to get away because of the medicinal materials. Su Wei had to go to the most luxurious shopping mall in Huatou City, Yunchang Shopping Plaza, by himself. It was still the international brand cosmetic store that Li Xiaoman took him to. Fortunately, the shopping guide lady from last time was still at work, saving Su Wei a lot of trouble. Without thinking, Su Wei asked the lady to arrange 10 sets directly. Oh my god. The shopping guide lady was shocked. 100,000 per set, 10 sets would be more than 1 million, and this guy didn't even frown. I wonder if he still needs a girlfriend? Just when the shopping guide lady was about to find Su Wei to add widget, Su Wei suddenly made a special request. That is to remove all packaging and labels, mark the contents with a marker, and then pack them in a white paper bag. Shopping guide lady. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to buy it from my mother, but she's been thrifty all her life, so she definitely won't be willing to spend such an expensive one, so help me. Being stared at like a monster, Su Wei had to find an excuse. Oh, no, it can't be called an excuse. There's indeed a share of the 10 sets for his old mother. I just brought some for Xiaona and Songdan. Yes, that's the truth. Wow. Little brother, you are so filial. No problem. Leave it to us. This reason instantly conquered all the shopping guides present, and they all volunteered to help, looking at Su Wei with maternal radiance in their eyes. How great it would be if I had such a good son. Su Wei. Oh. Strength lies in numbers. 10 sets of cosmetics were quickly changed as required, and then Su Wei fled in the maternal radiance of many young ladies. After going to the bathroom, 10 bags were lying in the storage space, very relaxed. Since he was already here, Su Wei went to the women's clothing store to pick out clothes for Xiaona and Songdan. He ordered a set of clothes of all kinds, from inside to outside, from top to bottom. Anyway, he had measured the sizes, and it was impossible for him to buy the wrong ones with his current perception. He also bought a few clothes for himself to avoid being misunderstood. So, the shop assistants in the clothing store lined up to help Su Wei get clothes and send them to the car. The 90 million Pagani function instantly conquered countless hearts. Damn. Rich people really know how to have fun. High-end luxury goods are all wholesale, and they have to tear off the labels and tags on the spot? What does this mean? After a few casual bites in the afternoon, Su Wei drove back to Yunshujian No. 1 courtyard, parked the car, and put the pile of clothes in the car into the storage space. Waving his sleeves, no cloud was brought. When he returned to the house, he found that Xiaowei had not come back yet. He called to ask, but she was still busy at the electronics company. Product changes are not something that can be done at any time. In addition to building a new production line, a lot of documents need to be changed, so Xiaowei has been very busy these days. With Xiaowei watching over the company's affairs, Su Wei naturally didn't worry and teleported to the wasteland world again. In the bedroom, Yuna and Songdan woke up early. But the laziness made them stay in bed and didn't want to get up. Anyway, they had a full lunch and it didn't matter if they didn't eat dinner. Sister Song, I'm really sorry for dragging you down this time. Yuna grabbed one of Songdan's hands and said. Xiaona, I volunteered. It's my honor to be able to help the boss solve problems. Songdan's heart is still warm until now, because Su Wei talked about a family at noon, and the shock this word brought to her was unparalleled. This boss is really different. Well, from now on you are my real sister. If there's anything wrong, you have to give me more advice. So as not to make Brother Sue unhappy, Yuna said with joy. Okay. But Ziona, you are too modest. The boss likes you so much, how can he bear to blame you? Songdan agreed after hesitating for a while. Yuna's innocence is well known, but she has no intention of taking advantage of her. She really treats her as a sister. No, Brother Sue still prefers mature types. Yuna looked at Songdan's plump figure and laughed slyly. Ah. No, Ziona, don't talk nonsense. Songdan was immediately embarrassed and her face turned red. Haha, Sister Dan, your face is red. Are you thinking about Brother Sue again? Ah. Ziona. If you keep fooling around, I will be angry. Come on, come on. Let me see how angry you are. Oh, no, if you have to give birth, it should be to Brother Sue. Why are you angry? Haha, you dead girl, I'll tear your little mouth apart. Ah, bang. At this moment, Sue was pushed open the door from outside and was instantly petrified. Ah. Brother Sue, come and help me. After a short silence, Yuna's face suddenly flushed with excitement, and she held Songdan tightly. Poof, Sue's nose instantly bleeds. Who can stand this? Anyway, I can't stand it. Sue roared and rushed into the battle. Hey. Dare to bully my little Nana, take my slap. Songdan, cap. An hour later, Sue was kicked out because the two girls wanted to try new clothes. Ahem, don't think too much. Sue just dragged the two girls to play landlord just now, don't make up your own mind. After waiting outside for more than an hour, when Sue was about to fall asleep, the bedroom door was opened from the inside, and two beautiful women dressed in gorgeous clothes walked out from inside, instantly brightening up the home, and Sue's sleepiness flew away. Songdan has an eye-catching aura, and Sue's eyes can't help but fall on her first. Long straight black hair draped over her shoulders, and light makeup on her snow-white face, like a painting. A short-sleeved small suit, a one-line hip skirt, black stockings and high heels. A set of standard professional clothes, but Songdan wore to enjoy a visual feast. If it were placed in the modern world, she would definitely be the boss of the royal sister world. It seems that in order to avoid Zhang Jun's harassment in the past, she deliberately uglier herself a lot. Look at Yuna again, damn. Double ponytails, sailor suit, revealing a pair of porcelain white long legs, white cotton socks and black leather shoes on her feet, pure and lusty. Love it, it's simply love it. Sue's eyes were straight. Ha, Nana, I said the boss would like it. Look at it, my eyes are straight. Just now Yuna still disliked this outfit as too childish and wanted to wear the type of Songdan, but now it seems that Songdan is right. No, I'm looking at you, Sister Dan. Yuna couldn't help blushing, feeling that Sue's eyes were a bit hot. Aha. They're all beautiful, all beautiful. Sue quickly expressed his opinion. Only children make choices, adults want them all. Yes. 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 Take a pill puff. Seeing Sue's silly look, the two girls burst into laughter. Chapter 46 Wang Boang. By the way, Ziona, how is the investigation of Wang Boang going? After joking, Sue began to get down to business. With the unlocking of Death Grip and Force Field Shield, Sue's curiosity about this man grew stronger and stronger. I found some, but not much. Yuna frowned. Wang Boang? I remember he came to the base a year ago. He was in a terrible state at that time. He was covered in wounds and almost dyed red with blood. He also brought a seriously ill woman with him. She said she was his sister, but her last name was not Wang, but Fang Yunzi. When Songdan heard the name, the relevant information naturally emerged in her mind. She has been in charge of the base management all the time, and she knows the personnel information very well. Well, the information I found is similar to what Sister Dan said. After Wang Boang came to the base, he took out all his savings to obtain permanent residency, and then relied on odd jobs in the base to exchange for food for survival. However, Fang Yunzi's disease is very special, and even strengthening drugs cannot repair it. According to gossip, this Wang Boang was very likely a soldier, and he has an inexplicable relationship with Fang Yunzi. Yuna continued to add. Soldier, Sue couldn't help but shine in his eyes. He is good at dealing in materials, and Songdan is good at managing the base, but no one is good at marching and fighting. If the Phaeton base wants to grow and develop, fighting is essential. You guys take a rest first, I'll go meet Wang Boang. Sue couldn't sit still. After leaving the headquarters, the sky had turned gray and it looked like it would soon be dark. When Sue arrived at the warehouse area, It was already dark, and it was not Wang Bowen who was on duty. After finding out Wang Bowen's address, Su Wei went there without stopping. The former shanty towns have now been built with many prefabricated houses, and living conditions have been greatly improved. When Su Wei arrived at a house, he reached out and knocked on the door. "Who is it?" With a slightly hoarse male voice, the door opened, revealing Wang Bowen's somewhat hunched figure. "Boss." Wang Bowen looked at Su Wei with one eye, showing a surprised but not surprised expression. "Won't you invite me in to sit down?" Su Wei said with a smile on his face, but he was suspicious in his heart. Why did he look at this guy and look like he knew I was looking for him? "This is a shabby room. I'm afraid the boss will laugh at me." Wang Bowen was stunned for a moment, and then he moved aside the body blocking the door. Su Wei walked in without saying a word. A room of about 20 square meters, a bed, divided into two halves by a curtain, and at this moment, a low cough came from behind the curtain. Although the room was simple, it was neatly kept and clean, and even the quilt on the bed was folded like a square block of tofu. "Boss, please sit down." After bringing the only chair to Su Wei, Wang Bowen sat down by the bed, sitting upright, with one arm placed on his knee. "Tell me, what do you want to do by bringing me here?" Su Wei said straight to the point after he sat down. Needless to say, this guy is definitely a military man, so it is intriguing that he took the initiative to find you now. "Well, let me make it clear that I have no ill intentions." Wang Bowen's face was a little embarrassed. "I know, that's why I came here alone." Su Wei felt the iron-blooded and upright aura from him. "I want the life potion in your hand, no matter what the conditions are." "I agree," Wang Bowen said with a serious face, no longer hiding, and exuding the aura of a 4-star evolver. "So that's it." Non-mutated medicinal materials are everywhere for Su Wei, but for people in the wasteland world, they are hard to come by, especially those extinct species, not to mention that there is no place to get them even if you have the ability. Therefore, the life potion in Su Wei's hand is also a unique treasure in the wasteland. "Brother Wang." "Don't." At this time, the curtain was opened vigorously, and a woman was seen lying on the bed on one side. She was tortured by the disease, skinny, with sparse hair, and looked like an old woman who was about to die. "Yunzi, don't talk, just lie down." Wang Bowen hurriedly got up and laid the woman flat, and carefully covered her with a quilt. "But, okay, I know my limits." Wang Bowen comforted Fang Yunzi, and then returned to Su Wei, looking at Su Wei expectantly. "I can give you the life potion," Su Wei said as he reached into his trouser pocket. When he came out again, he had a golden life potion in his hand. "Huh?" Looking at the golden potion, Wang Bowen and Fang Yunzi's breathing became heavier, but they did not say anything, quietly waiting for Su Wei to put forward the conditions. "I need you to be the instructor of the base's armed forces department, responsible for the training of combatants. Don't worry, you won't work for nothing, and all benefits will be paid according to the highest standards." Su Wei then stated the conditions. Wang Bowen and Fang Yunzi were stunned, and they didn't even dare to take the life potion handed over by Su Wei. "This is not a condition, it's clearly a benefit, okay?" "What? Don't you agree?" Su Wei frowned slightly. No, not. It's that I've become a useless person. How can I take on such a big responsibility?" Wang Bowen blushed, not knowing whether it was excitement or inferiority. "No matter what, you are a 4-star evolver, and your strength is unquestionable. What's more, I don't need you to participate in the battle directly, as long as you are responsible for personnel training. You know, in terms of professionalism, it must be you." Su Wei handed over the life potion again. "Okay. I promise you." Wang Bowen reached out to take the life potion and nodded vigorously. It said so much, and it would be hypocritical not to agree. At the same time, Wang Bowen's iron heart had the weight of Su Wei's existence, which was his recognition of Su Wei. "Okay. I won't bother you anymore. Remember to report to the Armed Forces Department tomorrow morning," Su Wei said as he stood up and walked out the door. At this moment, Wang Bowen must have only thought about using the life potion on Fang Yunzi. "Yes, boss." Wang Bowen stood up and stood at attention, just short of a standard military salute. "Oh, by the way, if there is anything you need, you can take her directly to see Mr. Qin. You are now a senior member of the base, and your family members have the right to receive free treatment." Before leaving, Su Wei reminded him again. "Yes, boss." Wang Bowen still stood at attention until Su Wei left. "Yunzi, come and drink it." After Su Wei left, Wang Bowen rushed to the bed, looked at Fang Yunzi, and said eagerly, "This, Brother Wang, am I dreaming?" Until now, Fang Yunzi still seemed to be in a dream. Originally thought that it would take a very heavy price to get the life potion. Unexpectedly, I got it so easily, and it also came with a job that allows me to survive in the wasteland. It's not a dream. We have met a noble man. As long as you get better, everything can start all over again." Wang Boing looked serious, silly and cute. "Yes," Fang Yunzi nodded with tears in her eyes. After drinking the potion, she fell asleep, but her face was full of smiles. She must have achieved her dream in the dream, so she smiled so sweetly. Chapter 47 Game. Late at night, in the Guo family mansion, Guo Jukei's study was still brightly lit. "Dad, this is the hydrogen battery-related information of Ziwei Electronics Company," Guo Mingguang said as he took out a stack of documents from his briefcase and put them on the desk. "Well, let me see." Guo Jukei put down the book in his hand and picked up the information. Guo Minglian, who was standing next to him, had a face full of resentment. He was forced to come by Guo Mingguang. "This is impossible. How can they make hydrogen metal?" After reading the project introduction, Guo Jukei was shocked. Hearing the name, he thought that Ziwei Group was going to do the current research hotspot in the industry, hydrogen fuel cells. But he didn't expect that it was a hydrogen metal battery, which undoubtedly subverted Guo Jukei's worldview. Although he is not a scientific researcher, he has a lot of knowledge about the development and prospects of the battery industry. Among them is the idea of hydrogen metal batteries, but that is only in the conceptual stage. "I also think it is impossible, but the source of the information is absolutely reliable," Guo Mingguang said solemnly. "What is this hydrogen metal? Is it awesome?" Guo Minglian, who was standing next to him, looked puzzled. He knows about kissing, but he doesn't know about hydrogen metal. Guo Jukei was so angry that he was speechless and almost threw the information in his hand at him. "Minglian, hydrogen metal is an emerging material that uses liquid hydrogen or solid hydrogen under extreme conditions to make it have metallic properties. Because hydrogen itself is light in weight and simple in structure, it has super high density under the same mass and can provide more energy. Most importantly, in theory, hydrogen metal can achieve superconductivity at room temperature. Do you know what this means? It means that batteries made of hydrogen metal will not generate heat while greatly reducing their size. This is undoubtedly an excellent configuration for modern mobile phones, nothing else." Guo Mingguang spoke out his understanding of hydrogen metal in one breath. If Ziwei Group really mastered the manufacturing technology of hydrogen metal, then Ziwei Group would not only be able to break through the current predicament, but even rewrite history. "Brother, are you sure you are not making a movie? According to what you said, how could Ziwei Group make something that even the technological powerhouse America can't make?" After listening to this, Guo Minglian immediately questioned, otherwise he would really be looked down upon by his father. Does Ziwei Group want to get out of trouble by using concept stocks? After Guo Minglian's reminder, Guo Mingguang thought of a possibility. "Well, this possibility is very high." Guo Jukei's eyes lit up. Now many companies, due to funding problems, will use new concept stocks to raise money. To put it bluntly, it is just a pie in the sky. The worst that can happen is that the research fails. Doing so can not only delay time, but also attract people's attention and make the company gain a lot of attention. Minglian, quickly contact Luan Shao and tell him about this. At the same time, find a way to cause more trouble for Ziwei Group. Guo Jukei put the information in his hand heavily on the desk. As long as Ziwei's reputation is ruined, even if they have any tricks, it will be useless. "Yes." Guo Mingguang and Guo Minglian turned around and went to work. Soon, under the promotion of Guo's group, a war against Ziwei Group's electronics company kicked off. The next day, early in the morning, Wang Boing arrived as promised, and changed into a spirited military uniform with a black long sword as the logo, which was not simple at first glance. Wang Boing turned out to be the captain of the former National Special Forces Dark Sword Squad. Before the catastrophe, the Dark Sword was one of the national weapons. It was a waste of talent to let their captain serve as an instructor at the Phaeton base. However, Su Wei's ideal is so big that it can't be contained in a pot, so he attaches great importance to the military strength of the base. Su Wei's requirement for Wang Bowen is that everything should be done according to the highest indicators. And in accordance with Wang Bowen's concept, elites are selected from the armed forces to form an elite team. In terms of duties, the armed forces are still headed by Yuna as the minister, Wei Daohe as the deputy minister, and Wang Bowen as the chief instructor and the captain of the elite team, directly responsible to the leader Su Wei. With sufficient supply of materials, the training enthusiasm of the members of the armed forces is very high, especially after the treatment of the members of the elite team was announced. It made people scramble for their heads. Not only will the welfare benefits be doubled, but they can also get priority to get advanced strengthening potions. This alone can make people crazy. In the wasteland world, strength represents survival. After everything was arranged, Su Wei said goodbye to Yuna and Songdan, drove the all-terrain transport vehicle out of the base, and then teleported back to the modern world. As soon as he appeared in the bedroom of Yun Shujian No. 1 courtyard, Su Wei's cell phone rang. "Hello, Sister Wei, Zio Wei, your call finally got through. Have you finished your business? Are you free now?" As soon as the call was connected, Xia Wei's anxious voice came like a machine gun. "I am free." "What happened?" Su Wei asked hurriedly. "Come to the electronics company as soon as you are free." Xia Wei didn't say what happened on the phone, but she sounded very worried. "Okay, I'll be there right away." Su Wei hung up the phone, changed his clothes, and then drove the Pagani Fangshan to the electronics company at lightning speed. "Sister Wei, what happened?" In the general manager's office, Su Wei saw Xia Wei, and saw a trace of worry on her beautiful face. Fan Yuan, Wang Jian and Fang Huan were also there. "Boss Su, the 3 departments of safety supervision, fire protection, and environmental protection suddenly notified us to conduct a surprise inspection," Wang Jian said with sweat on his forehead. "These people came to inspect 2 days ago, and it might not be so simple to come again now. Boss Su, many online media suddenly reported on our electronics company, saying that after selling the production line, we still wanted to cheat money under the guise of high technology." Fang Huan followed. Su Wei took out his mobile phone and searched casually. As Fang Huan said, similar reports were overwhelming, and calling them scammers was still an understatement. "I should be able to deal with the inspection of the 3 departments of safety supervision, fire protection, and environmental protection by going to my family. But how to break the public opinion on the internet?" Xia Wei looked at Su Wei and asked. "If this matter was not handled well, it might make the company cold. Sister Wei, issue a notice in the name of the group and hold a press conference at Century Building the day after tomorrow afternoon." Su Wei thought for a while and said to Xia Wei, "Since the Guo family wants to start the war in advance, let's do it. The day after tomorrow? Isn't it too late?" Xia Wei couldn't help but be stunned. Shouldn't online rumors be clarified in time? Su Wei looked calm. "Sister Wei, this is free publicity. Let more people pay attention to Zhuo and hydrogen batteries. The more people question it, the more people will be shocked when we come up with a product, and the more people will support us." Su Wei smiled confidently. "This is technology from more than 100 years later, how could it not be popular? Okay, I'll arrange it right away." Chapter 48 The counterattack begins. Xia Wei, who was resolute and swift, immediately took people to prepare. Su Wei was the only one left in the office. He was not idle either. He left the electronics company directly and drove to the suburban freight yard. It was time to get the superpress out. Coincidentally, Li Xiaoman was also in the freight yard. Under the scorching sun, she was wearing a professional suit and a big hat, meticulously supervising the unloading of the food company's truck. Her fair face was a little tanned. Su Wei felt sorry for her. She could obviously make a living with her face, but she insisted on relying on her strength. "Xiaoman." Su Wei walked up to her, but Li Xiaoman didn't notice her, so she had to call out. "Ah, boss, why are you here?" Li Xiaoman saw Su Wei and her face was obviously happy. "I'm here to transfer a batch of goods. It's just right. After unloading these, I'll ask them to help me deliver it. The price is negotiable." Su Wei pointed to the big truck and said. "Boss Su, what's the money? Anyway, we'll be empty-handed." "Just do whatever you say." The driver seemed to know Su Wei. After hearing this, he stepped forward and promised. "How can I do this? We still have to pay for our hard work." "Let's go by the market price," Su Wei said without hesitation. "Okay, whatever you say, Boss Su," the driver agreed readily, rubbing his head. After that, he climbed onto the carriage, urged the workers to speed up, and join the unloading. "You don't have to do these things yourself. If you are really worried, just hire someone else. Look at you, you're all tanned," Su Wei said, taking out a tissue to wipe Li Xiaomen's sweat. These are all expensive. I don't feel at ease if I don't watch over you. Li Xiaomen was very happy. Are the skincare products I gave you useless? Looking at Li Xiaomen, who looked like a housekeeper, Su Wei immediately felt that he had found the right person. I can't bear to part with them. They cost more than 100,000 yuan a set. I plan to collect them, Li Xiaomen said with a smile on her face. In fact, with her current annual salary of 1 million, she doesn't need to care about these things at all, but that was the first gift Su Wei gave her, which was of great significance. Why are you reluctant to part with it? Just buy more after you use it up. If the money is not enough, just consider it your allowance and reimburse yourself. Su Wei couldn't help but be speechless. Humph, no need, Li Xiaomen suddenly said angrily. Oh, if you get tanned, you won't look good. Then no one will want you, Su Wei deliberately teased. You dare? Li Xiaomen looked at Su Wei with a face full of grievance. Her two big eyes were misty, and I felt pity for her. Hey, I'm just kidding, don't take it so seriously. I'll give you another set, okay? Use it today, use it as much as you want. Su Wei hurriedly grabbed Li Xiaomen's hand and comforted her. Puchy, how can you be like this? Li Xiaomen rolled her eyes at Su Wei, but did not take back her hand that was held, and let Su Wei hold it. That's right, you look so pretty when you smile. Humph, you're so poor. By the way, which warehouse is the goods you want to transfer? In warehouse number 1, there are only 8 large wooden boxes. Number 1? Okay, send me the address. Go and get busy. No need to stay here. Although Li Xiaomen was curious, she didn't ask any more questions. Okay, after this time, don't do this next time. If you can't handle it, just hire someone else. Don't save money for me. Su Wei had to rush back to the electronics company, so he sent the address to Li Xiaomen. But before leaving, he specifically reminded her. The gold diggers helped him make money every day, and now he was too lazy to count the money. I know, Li Xiaomen said as she pushed Su Wei into the car. With this guy around, she couldn't concentrate on her work, okay? 2 days later, in Century Building, Zhuyi Group rented the entire first-floor lobby and held a press conference. Before it even started, there were already crowds of people here. After 2 days of fermentation, Zhuyi Group was already criticized on the internet. A fraudulent company that has been criticized like a dog actually held a press conference. Such a strange news is naturally eye-catching. In addition to some industry insiders, the most people who came were reporters. Some enthusiastic spectators came to the scene specifically to see what kind of fraudulent company it was. Some anchors also gathered. These days, wherever there is a little heat, there is no shortage of these talents. Amid the melodious light music, Xia Wei walked out from behind the scenes in a dress, radiant and attracting everyone's attention. Boss Xia, is it true that the news circulating online that Zhuyi Group is dead in name only? Boss Xia, is today's press conference going to announce the bankruptcy of its electronics company? A group of reporters surrounded her like blood-sucking worms, aiming their guns at Xia Wei and asking sarcastic questions. Sorry. The press conference has not started yet, and President Xia will not answer any questions. Please take your seats. If you have any questions, there will be a special question and answer session at a press conference later. Please be patient. The security team led by Fang Huan immediately blocked the reporters outside and let Xia Wei enter the venue and take a seat. Since Zhuyi Group is a wholly owned subsidiary of Su Wei, Xia Wei became the only audience member in the board seat, which seemed particularly deserted. Suddenly, after a burst of loud noises, Su Wei appeared at the door of the hall in a formal suit. The reporters who originally thought that some big shot had arrived swarmed in, but they didn't expect that it was actually a little kid. Although he was dressed well, he looked unfamiliar. The reporters couldn't help but leave in disappointment and continue to pay attention to President Xia Wei at the venue. Looking at her figure and temperament, just sitting there, she is the focus of the news. Su Wei was confused, and the prepared speech was not used. It also caused him to think for a long time on the way here, wasting many brain cells. Okay. Go up yourself. Su Wei smiled bitterly and shook his head, and walked straight to the board of directors of Zhuyi Group. Hey, who is that guy? Why did he go to the board of directors? I'm afraid he wants to chat up President Xia. Where did this young man come from? I'm afraid he will be thrown out in the next second. People who noticed speculated one after another, with an expression ready to watch a good show. Unfortunately, the result was a big disappointment to everyone. Su Wei walked all the way to the board of directors. Not only did no one stop him, but Xiao Wei, who was sitting upright, actually stood up on her own initiative, with a smiling face to greet him. In the end, Su Wei was held by Xiao Wei's hand and sat in the chairman's seat. Oh my god. Am I dazzled, or is the world too crazy? That young man actually sat in the chairman's seat of Zui Group, and was talking and laughing with the stunning President Xia. Wait? Chairman? It seems that there was a rumor before that the chairman of Zui Group was a college student. Is the rumor true? The group of reporters immediately beat their chests and stamped their feet, sighing that it was a pity. I missed such a good interview opportunity just now. What a waste, Cap. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49 Standing and Watching. Just when the reporters were worried about gains and losses, a group of people walked in from outside. When they saw the leader, they smelled the fishy smell again and swarmed around him. Mr. Guo, why are you here? Did Zui Group invite you? Mr. Guo, is Guo Group going to take over Zui Group? Yes, the visitors were Guo Juke and his two sons, accompanied by several buyers, who were originally big customers of Zui Group Electronics Company, but were poached by Guo. No, we are not here to attend any press conference. The headquarters of Jixing Electronics, a new company under Guo, opened in Century Building today. Maybe everyone has heard that Jixing Electronics will produce mobile phone batteries to fill the gap in Guo Group's products. I have another good news to tell you. Jixing Company has just been established and has received a large order of hundreds of millions. If you are interested, you can go and show your support. Thank you. Guo Juke looked at the crowd and said loudly, as if he was afraid that Su Wei and the others could not hear him. Mr. Guo, what do you think of the new energy hydrogen battery proposed by Zui Electronics? Hearing this news, the reporters were immediately excited. How can a one-man show be as lively as a competition between two companies? I'll stand and watch. Guo Juke's words stunned the reporters. They didn't expect him to joke in such an occasion. Haha, I'm kidding. If you insist, I can only say that young people should be down to earth, Guo Juke said with a smile in the direction of the Zui Group's board of directors. Mr. Guo, if you say that, can it be understood that Zui Group's new energy hydrogen battery is purely fictitious? The reporters kept asking questions whenever they got a chance. Haha, you can't say that. At least people dare to think, right? We still have to give young people a certain understanding and support. Maybe after N years, the dream will come true. As soon as this was said, the whole audience was shocked. This was a naked provocation. I don't know how Zui Group will respond. Mr. Guo, right? You don't have to wait for years. Your dream will come true immediately. Do you dare to stay and see it for yourself? When Xiao Wei couldn't help but get angry, Su Wei stopped her, and then looked at Guo Juke with a carefree look on his face. Su Wei, what qualifications do you have to talk to my dad like that? Guo Minglian, who was standing by, was immediately furious. Because I'm the chairman of Zui Group, Su Wei's words immediately silenced Guo Minglian. A lean camel is bigger than a horse. No matter what, Zui is one of the best group companies in Huadu City, and its chairman's status is naturally not much worse than Guo Juke. If you can't speak, then talk less, Guo Juke said to Guo Minglian calmly, and then carefully looked at Su Wei opposite him. Are you Su Wei? Not bad, haha, the young man is not bad. Since you invited me, I want to take a look, then you have to watch carefully. After Su Wei finished speaking, he pulled Xiao Wei back to sit, and did not arrange for Guo's people to sit down, which really fulfilled Guo Juke's words. I will stand and watch. Humph, I want to see how you end it. Guo Minglian on the side gritted his teeth in anger and could not help but whispered in hatred. Guo Juke didn't care. He stood and watched. Anyway, the good show was to come. As he was talking, it was already 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The press conference of Zui Group officially began, which immediately attracted everyone's attention to the stands. Feng Huren, as the host of this press conference, first gave a brief project introduction and pushed the new product of hydrogen battery onto the screen. Wang Na, who acted as a lady of etiquette, held a hydrogen battery in both hands and displayed it in front of the stage. Seeing the hydrogen battery, which is only the size of a piece of chewing gum and not much thicker than a piece of paper, the audience was surprised. Seeing the capacity marked on the label, many people questioned it. The volume is several times smaller, but the power is several times more. Is it possible? In order to explain this problem, Feng Huan directly invited Zhang Shenqiang and Fan Yuanying to the stage. On-site testing. Seeing the rows of data refreshed on the screen, many people were confused, but a few people showed shock in their eyes. Laymen watch the excitement, while experts see the doorway. If the above data are true, then this hydrogen battery can definitely be called an epic-making product, and it will even subvert the current battery industry. The above is the product introduction of hydrogen batteries. Next is the question and answer session. Friends who have questions, please raise your hands, and we will try our best to answer them. Thank you. As soon as Feng Huan finished speaking, reporters swarmed and raised their hands. Manager Feng, may I ask if this hydrogen battery has obtained national certification? The reporter who was called immediately asked the question. Which aspect do you mean? As for quality and indicators, our new energy hydrogen battery is fully compliant, Feng Huan answered slowly. What about patents? Have you obtained national patents? The reporter asked. Patents? Of course, not only national, but also worldwide, Feng Huan answered with a smile. Then what about certification? Have you obtained quality certification from a third-party organization? The reporter asked again. No. Feng Huan's face was slightly embarrassed. Su Wei didn't care about these things at all. No certification from an authoritative organization? What kind of new energy is this? The reporter immediately looked disdainful. Led by the reporter, many people in the audience whispered and questioned the authenticity of hydrogen batteries. My reporter friend, which authoritative organizations are you referring to? When Feng Huan was stunned, Su Wei stood up and walked to the front of the stage. Who are you? Why should I answer your question? The reporter still pointed the finger at Feng Huan. This is the chairman of our Ziwei group, Feng Huan hurriedly introduced, and this answer was enough to explain everything. Wow! The audience was immediately shocked. They didn't expect that the chairman of Ziwei group was so young. An authoritative organization refers to a professional organization in the industry that has a certain and relatively high administrative power or a first-class academic research level in the industry, Su Wei explained to himself. So what? The reporter didn't understand what he meant. Ziwei Electronics is the world's first manufacturer of hydrogen metal. Let me ask, who is qualified and capable to certify us? Su Wei asked back domineeringly. The reporter was speechless. Many people nowadays have a preconceived concept of authoritative certification, and feel that only that is very awesome. After Su Wei said this, everyone reacted. This Ziwei group is awesome. The world's first, and the only one in the world, who can certify it? Mr. Su, how do you prove the authenticity of hydrogen battery technology? One reporter was silent, and another reporter continued to fire. Proof? The real thing is in front of you, and you still want me to prove it. Then let me ask, how do you prove that you are yourself? Su Wei asked back with a surprised look. The reporter was also silent. Indeed, they have already made the real thing. How can they prove it? Unless you are a professional and can ask professional and technical questions, what qualifications do you have to question others? Puff. Seeing Su Wei's verbal battle with a group of reporters, Xia Wei and others laughed. They really couldn't help it. Many people who came to eat melons also laughed, as if watching a group crosstalk. Guo Juke and others who were standing outside the venue and watching couldn't laugh. If this goes on, the purpose of discrediting Ziwei group will probably fail. Seeing that his father's face was not good, Guo Mingguang immediately gestured to a female reporter in a beautiful short skirt. Chapter 50. Why are you lying? Mr. Su, it is reported that Ziwei Electronics has sold its production equipment, and now a new energy hydrogen battery has emerged. Excuse me, are you trying to use high-tech gimmicks to cheat money? The reporter in a beautiful short skirt asked Su Wei pointedly. As soon as this question came out, it immediately attracted great attention, including some people watching the live broadcast, who sent out barrages to denounce Ziwei Group. The production line has been sold, and it still produces hammers? Miss Reporter, Ziwei Group is not listed, not financing, and not applying for projects. I want to ask, whose money is it cheating? Is it cheating your uncle's money? Su Wei asked back unceremoniously. Don't think I didn't see you and the Guo family flirting with each other. You are at least a chairman. How can you say dirty words in public? Is Ziwei Group a vicious group? The female reporter questioned Su Wei angrily. Dirty words? Did I say it? Don't you have an uncle? Who doesn't have an uncle these days? Don't you think so? Su Wei asked seriously. The female reporter was so angry that she wanted to curse. Mom, I suspect he was driving, but I just have no evidence. I'm just very angry. Here, I solemnly declare, Zhuyi Group will never go public. Zhuyi Group will never go public. Zhuyi Group will never go public. Important things must be said 3 times. Does anyone else want to ask questions? Su Wei no longer looked at the female reporter and shouted to the audience. Never go public. As soon as this news came out, half the sky collapsed. Even Fang Huan and others from Zhuyi Electronics were shocked. If you don't go public, you can't raise funds, and if you don't raise funds, you can't raise money. How can you expand without money? How can you develop without money? Xiao Wei was probably the only one in the audience who remained calm, because she knew that the financial team in Su Wei's hands made money faster than a money printing machine. Why would Zhuyi Group, which has strong financial support, go public? The whole audience was silent, and the Guo family members all looked black. All rumors about Zhuyi Group will be refuted, and the reporters and internet trolls they hired at a high price will also stop. Seeing that no one asked questions, Feng Huan immediately took the opportunity to end the question session. Next is the free time. You can go on stage to take a close look at the new products, or you can negotiate an agreement with Zhuyi Electronics. Technicians from several manufacturers came on stage one after another, and after observing closely, they all showed incredible expressions. But despite this, no one came forward to discuss business with Zhuyi Electronics. Apart from the factors of suspicion, the main reason is the pressure from the Luan family. No one wants to be the first to stand out and be remembered by others. Seeing this scene, the expressions on Guo Juke and others' faces improved. Haha, close the stall as soon as possible, don't embarrass yourself here. Guo Minglian finally felt proud and shouted at the stage. To thank you for your support, I announce that the first manufacturer to reach an agreement with Zhuyi Electronics can enjoy a permanent 30% discount. Su Wei didn't even bother to look at Guo Minglian, and announced to the manufacturers present. The manufacturers who came today are all small manufacturers. If they can get such a huge discount, the cost will be greatly reduced. Hearing this news, several manufacturers were obviously tempted. Hey, kid. Don't bother. No one dares to buy without my consent. The window of a coffee shop room on the second floor was opened, and a big back-haired man stuck out. Seeing this person, the manufacturers stopped immediately. Luan Guoqiang, Su Wei and Xiao Wei were surprised. They didn't expect this guy to come in person. It's you? Su Wei's face sank. If the Luan family took action, I'm afraid this matter would fail. He, either hand over the equity obediently, or wait for bankruptcy. Luan Guoqiang looked at Su Wei with a face full of anger. Luan Guoqiang, you mad dog. Xiao Wei was so angry that she cursed. Haha, with you, what can you do to me? Luan Guoqiang looked at Xiao Wei, not hiding the naked desire in his eyes. Xiao Wei was so angry that she trembled all over. Su Wei reached out and held Xiao Wei's hand to calm her excitement, then looked up at Luan Guoqiang and said, save it. Zhuyi will not only not go bankrupt, but will also get better and better. Very good. You have successfully attracted my attention. Luan Guoqiang looked at Su Wei with murderous eyes. Everyone was shocked by Su Wei's actions. He dared to challenge the Luan family in Beijing. I don't know if he is really stupid or pretending to be stupid. Although Zhuyi Group is a little famous in Huizhou City, it can only be regarded as a second or third-rate enterprise in the whole country, not to mention the foundation of the Beijing family. They can crush you to death with just a finger. Donglei International is here to discuss hydrogen battery business with Zhuyi Electronics. At this moment, a crisp voice sounded. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice, only to see a girl slowly walking over. A pink dress, long white legs, a pair of white cloth shoes, and a face like a painting. She looks like an elf from another world, or like a fallen immortal. The angelic girl held the arm of an energetic old man. The He family of the Magic City. When Luan Guoqiang saw the old man, his face changed. Shuang, why are you here? Su Wei and Xiao Wei were stunned, and then hurried over. I heard that your company has launched a new product, so I brought Grandpa to see it. This is my Grandpa He Donglei. Grandpa, he is Su Wei, my classmate, he Shuang said with a smile, but her face blushed slightly when she introduced them to each other. After she saw the negative reports about Zui Group on the internet, she specially begged her grandfather to fly over. "Hello, old man," Su Wei hurriedly greeted the old man. "Haha, hello." Donglei looked at Su Wei with a smile, which made Su Wei feel a little embarrassed. "Grandpa," Shuang couldn't help blushing and tugged at Donglei's arm. "Grandpa." At this time, Xia Wei walked in and greeted Donglei with a smile. "Oh? You are the girl of the Xia family. Oh my, you are so big now." Donglei's attention was immediately attracted. He greeted Xia Wei enthusiastically and asked some questions about the old man of the Xia family. The reporters around him gathered around like flies smelling fish. Donglei, the controller of Donglei International, one of the largest companies in Xia country. Compared with Hulu City, it is definitely a giant. However, before they could get close, they were stopped outside by a group of bodyguards. "Grandpa, why don't you go up and see the products first?" After greeting each other, Su Wei looked at Donglei. He had heard of Donglei International. It had countless companies and involved in many industries, one of which was the electronic processing industry, and it was also a foundry for Huiao Group, one of the mobile phone giants in Xia country. "Alright. Let's go take a look." Donglei called everyone to go to the booth. Luan Guoqiang, who was arrogant before, was suddenly left out, and he almost bit his teeth in anger. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.